Okay, it says we are live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Soundtracks with Birdman. Tonight, Age Boomer and I are doing John Barry's score to Dances with Wolves. Came out in 1990. It occurred to me today that's 30 years ago. I'm starting to feel old, but we won't go into that tonight. How are you, Mr. Age Boomer?
I'm doing very well. I do remember when this movie came out. This was a big deal. I didn't actually get around to seeing it until a few years later, though. But I remember I did have a high school history teacher that loved this movie, and he would show us clips from it because he thought it was a really good portrayal of the pioneer life back then, and also uh, just the way we were getting along with the tribes and everything. And he really liked it.
I actually
Yeah.
saw it the weekend it came out. It's 3 hours long.
Did you know it was
I
gonna be
was,
that long?
yeah, I knew going in, but I enjoyed it. It was 10th grade when it came out for me. And then like 2 weeks later, everyone at school started talking about it. And I was like, man, I was like so far ahead of the game. I saw that weeks ago.
Oh,
My
big up.
fleeting moment
Hmm?
of coolness in high school. But
Yeah,
yeah. So Big Al was first.
yeah. We
Melissa Harris was second. Thank you all for coming.
And Daniel Herron, welcome. Oh wait,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm just,
Kind of
yeah,
cheating.
I know you're cheating. Yeah, yeah. It's like when you like your own video. Here, let me like your video. Hold on, let me do that too.
Oh,
All
thank you.
right. Well, welcome everybody. This is Dance with Wolves. This is a rather long movie, 3 hours long, but it doesn't feel like a long movie. I would argue, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. I
Roger Ebert once said that Richard Roper used to complain about length. He was the replacement for Gene Siskel on his show, and he used to always complain that these movies are getting too long, or this movie's too long. And Roger Ebert said, no bad movie is too short, no good movie is too long. That's what he said.
I
So
would agree.
yeah, but
This actually kicked off the 3 hour long movie for Kevin Costner because he had JFK.
yeah, The
I think
Postman.
The Postman, Wyatt Earp. I think 13 Days was 3 hours. Um, so yeah, go 3 hours.
I never saw Wyatt Earp because it
Really?
came out, I think, the same year as Tombstone,
It
and I
did.
was
Came
and
out in
I
the
was
summer.
I was
Yeah.
a Tombstone loyalist, and I'm like, well, I already saw the OK Corral movie, and I'm not going to do it again. And
Okay.
I probably should watch it now because it's probably a rather good movie, but I just didn't watch it at the time because I was like, I just saw Tombstone, I'm not going to see another. This happens in Hollywood. Sometimes I think people come up with the same idea at the same time, and
They
it
do.
can be a bit of a disaster. I don't think it's anybody's fault. I don't think it's a case of somebody ripping somebody else off and trying to beat them to a punch. I think it's just that sometimes these things happen. Like I remember Ants and Bugs Life came out the same year. The two CG computer animated movies about ants.
I, I saw Bug's Life, but I never saw um, Ants.
Ants is it's an animated Woody Allen comedy.
Oh, okay.
So if you like Woody Allen movies, you'll get a kick out of it. If not, you're probably not going to like it. But it's because he does the voice of the main ant in it, and it has some other actors in it. Sylvester Stallone is one of the ants in it. I forget who else. Sharon Stone's in it as one of the voices of the Queen Ant, I think. And what's her name? Jennifer Lopez is in it as well.
Really, J Lo.
Yeah,
Okay.
J Lo is in Ants. Yes, she does the voice of one of the ants. And
I kind of lost all respect for her when they did the little taco flavor kissy thing on South Park.
oh my
Um,
word!
did you see that?
No, I did not. I did
Yeah,
see.
it's
I
just just type in taco flavor kissy Cartman on
mhm,
YouTube. I'm sure it'll pull up.
yes. Melissa Harris, late husband, loved old West films like John Wayne as the Duke. Yeah, he was the Duke. Wonder if we'll ever do a John Wayne on this thing. Any John Wayne movies you like? I don't know if there are any scores that
Cowboys,
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
We could do the Cowboys someday. I have that somewhere. I've never watched it, but I do own the DVD, so I should wait around to watching it.
I've never watched it, but I have the film score. It's John Williams, and it's the first truly great John Williams film score.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if that's the John Wayne movie I own that came. It was just a regular DVD, but I open it up and inside is a whole postcard set of stuff from the movie. It was kind of a neat extra that just, I think I paid like nothing for the DVD too, and it came with all this extra stuff inside. It was weird. But yeah, but Dances with Wolves, I did try rewatching it before the stream because I did see I've seen it before, but I got about halfway through, which is, it's been a busy week, but I will follow along and do my best. All right.
That's fine with me. It's all I ever ask.
All right, but
And Professor Geek said he would try to pop in tonight for all you Professor Geek groupies. Big Al, not judging.
I think we're all Professor Geek groupies at this point, right? I mean, he's
okay.
the heavy is the head that wears the crown, I guess.
And he has a pretty heavy head. So
yeah, yes. But what was I going to talk about though? I'm trying to think what else is going on. I don't know if there are any other Disney movies you'd like to do before you get rid of your Disney Plus.
Well, my sister informed me I can't do that. She has to have Disney Plus. And I was like, you have to get a job, is what you have to get. Hello, Sound Engraver. Thank you for coming by. Always nice to have you on.
Hello. Well, thank you for stopping by, Sound Engraver. This is a John Barry score tonight. I know him best for the many James Bond scores he did, and I think
11 in total.
11 Bond scores. I'm going to look those up while we're in the stream. Okay, but yeah, well, we're in the stream now. But well, guess what? Do you want to wait another 5 minutes?
Hi, Professor Geek's here.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, how do I do? Okay, I've never had 3 people.
Add to stream.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
How's it going?
Are you here?
I'm
Hey,
here.
hello. How are you?
I'm underdressed, but I'm here.
Hey, he's showing
you're
his
wearing
face
clothes. I'm happy. I'm happy. You're wearing clothes.
Well, I'm wearing a shirt. That's all you know.
Ooh, okay.
I'm wearing pajamas because I have to get up early tomorrow.
I'm wearing house shoes.
Nice. That killed the illusion. Don't tell us that.
Okay.
What, the illusion?
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, let me tell you, I am wearing a Master Splinter T-shirt.
That's
from
cool.
From the TMNT. Not themed at all for the show, but how would you know? But except I just spouted it out right now, so never mind then. Okay.
Very cool.
All right.
So I can't stay long, honestly. I got in later than I would, but I wanted to at least grace the stream, and also just tell people this stream is awesome. I've been checking out Soundtracks of Birdman. I can't always catch it live. I do when I can, or I drop in, but I catch it afterwards, and I really like what you guys got going here. If you got a good commentary rolling and good rewatch, so good stuff. But yeah, whenever you're ready to talk about the film, I'll say a little bit about it too, because I like some of the stuff you were telling me about it.
Yeah,
I saw this as before I did research as like the frontiersman archetype that you talk about, but then I started researching it, and it sounds more like American romanticism to me.
Well, yeah, and the two aren't mutually exclusive at all. In fact, they piggyback together. So American romanticism, that's where the American frontiersman got his start with James Fenimore Cooper and the Natty Bumppo, the Leatherstocking Tales, Last of the Mohicans. That's where that came from. And so, yeah, it's the American frontier. In this movie, of course, it's the West, the Wild West. But in I'm hearing myself echo a little bit somewhere. Sorry, trying not to do that. I don't know whose headphones are coming through. But it's a Wild West, but if Fenimore Cooper had it, in the American frontier, which would have been like Western Virginia territory or something like that. So during the French and Indian War, but it's the same idea. It's that same sort of dangerous territory where one world meets another. So Western civilization meets, the American Indian tribes and, the uncivilized and stuff like that. And that's what you have the same thing in Dances with Wolves, which is cool because that dynamic of frontier existed in American history for a long time with Manifest Destiny, with the slow encroaching of the frontier over to the west to the point where it was completely settled. And once it was completely settled, what do? Then we look towards the new frontier, space. So then you've got Star Trek and all of that becomes the new frontier. So yeah, it's absolutely frontiersman, but our Kevin Costner's character isn't a superhero. He's not a heroic, kind of like Daniel Boone or something like that, or Davy Crockett. So that's what makes it more of a romantic movie. Like you say, you're absolutely right, romanticism. And but there's that frontier element to it. But yeah, I think you characterized it well by calling it romanticism, definitely.
Have you seen this film before?
I have. It's been a long, long time, but all the traits are there, right? I mean, his character straddles the boundary of two worlds. So he uses what he knows from his upbringing in the Western, in the American colonies there or whatever, in the States, to be of benefit to the Indian tribes. But then he also uses what he knows of the Indian tribes there to be a benefit to himself, as an American. So he's a perfect exhibition of that. And Mary, what's her name? Mary McDonald. She's wonderful in this too. I love her acting. Stands with fists is her name, right?
Yes. Can you hang out for a bit while we start the film? Or?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me rig up my copy. All right, give me a sec. You still hearing that echo, Professor?
Blah 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 blah. Nope. I think you must turn down your something or another. It worked. Whatever you did.
I was going to move all the sound to my right ear so it's not right next to the mic. So.
Well, hopefully that's okay with her. You don't want to mess that up.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But I just because I notice it pops up on my stream too, and I'm trying to zero in on what's causing it.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm ready whenever you are, Daniel. Actually, I'm at the 4-second mark. Give me a second.
Okay, I'm at 0-0.
Okay. All right. I'm ready whenever you are.
Give me one final moment here.
Okay.
Sure. If you need, I didn't know you were setting up too, Professor.
I'm not setting up, but I just I'm watching it for free on Amazon with the 7-day trial of Stars. So I just need to say yes. Sure, I'll totally do the 7-day trial. I don't have it on DVD
for mine.
Wow. Yeah, I don't have the DVD. I wish I did. It's a really good movie. I like it. But all right.
Well, maybe you'll get it for Christmas.
Oh, you give me enough, man. You've gotten me Christmas gifts for the next 3 years with that Ernest. I'm done. I'm set.
I'm very thrilled you like that because I was on the fence.
Oh,
Big
man.
Al pushed me over. He's like, "No, you have to get it." And I was like, "Okay." I'm afraid he might not like it.
He dropped the hat, but I did get a cord. I got the cord out, and he talks really quickly. But look,
I love you. I love firewood.
So
This is
awesome.
like one of the sad toys from Toy Story, except Morrison was in Toy. But Jim Varney was in Toy Story. But it's like.
All right, I am. You guys are at what level? What mark now?
0-0.
The 0 mark. Okay,
I'm at 0.
I think we're good.
Okay,
Ready?
you want to do countdown,
1,
Daniel?
2, 3, play.
Metro Golden Mayer line there.
Do they still make movies?
Under Disney, I think. Or
I was kind of joking. I mean,
it's weird. I might be out of sync with you too because I have the original DVD release, which has the Orion Pictures release in front of it. So we'll see.
Okay, well,
we'll make do. I'll make do
right now.
Yeah, Orion popping now. Somebody cracked open a cold one.
Sorry.
Is that a Diet Dr. Pepper?
It is a Coca-Cola Classic.
Oh, that's okay.
All right.
So we open up immediately with the John Dunbar theme on solo trumpet, which is fitting because he is a soldier and trumpets go with the army like, I don't know, peas and carrots.
True.
Best credits ever. Actually, I'm picking on. They're fine. It's the Silence of the Lambs credits I dislike the most, but here we go.
Snare drums, the quiet snare drums. So this is definitely a military thing.
Yikes. Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah, this is kind of gross.
So what happened to him?
I'm going to guess he was shot.
Maybe that's what it is, because they're saying it's not gangrenous. I think they were making a comment about that.
That does take a little time to set in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their medical practices back in the day, they didn't have. I mean, if you got a bullet in the leg, you had to lose the leg. They couldn't get it out, hardly at all. It was a big deal.
And the big thing back then is if the ball hit the bone would shatter,
Mm-hmm.
and you could do nothing for that.
Yeah, people
But-
talk a lot about World War One being the first modern warfare, but really the Civil War
Civil
used.
War was.
Yeah, it did rock the nation too, because it was the first war that was broadcast with photographs all over the nation via
That's
newspapers.
true.
They used trench warfare, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What's really frightening, most people survived the amputation procedure and then they died from infection. That's just like a double horror story.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, this turned my stomach the first time I saw it in 10th grade. But Kevin Costner wanted a grand sweeping score, and John, because originally Bizel Podores was going to score this, but he dropped out to do Flight of the Intruder, which was delayed for like a year, so he could have done this anyways. But that happens sometimes. But John Barry wanted a more intimate, quiet score, and he said it would convey the emotions of the film more, and he convinced Costner to do that. And that's I think that's fitting for the movie. I think the film score carries the film. Because like Age Boomer and I were saying, this is 3 hours long. This is a long ass movie. And there's not a lot going on that's not talking.
Mm-hmm.
But John Barry was very good at conveying emotion very simply. And this film is simply shot. It's not over the top. No Michael Baying going on in this film. Thank you.
Yeah.
You have to have a top-notch film score. And John Barry, I think this is John Barry's finest film score, hands down. This was his 5th Academy Award. It was one of his final films before he died.
Definitely. It was interesting, though, that scene that made you queasy a minute ago, though, we don't actually see a lot. Okay, a lot of it's
just
more
all the
blood.
blood. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's about it.
It's just thinking what could be there. It's just
but also, like you were saying, that's more intimate theme. I mean, could you imagine seeing that scene? Like I felt his pain right there, just putting on his boot again with that solo trumpet and that more intimate music. And if that was grand and sweeping, it would have killed the moment for me a bit. It wouldn't have been nearly as profound.
And have you ever put on riding boots? It's not easy.
I imagine.
Just put on snow boots, but not riding boots.
I've only ridden a horse once in my life. It was to try and impress some girl, and I didn't have riding boots, so I just used duck boots.
Did it work? Did you impress her?
I guess, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Young and stupid.
Aren't we all? Now, in American Romanticism, Professor, I wrote down the characteristics. Nature, individualism, emotion, imagination, the frontier are all characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say you have the same characteristics with the frontiersmen?
Yeah, I mean that plays into the American monomyth, right? The individualism. I mean, that's a core part of the American monomyth, which is core to any of the archetypes. But yeah, no, it makes sense because in London you had Percy Shelley, Blake, and all these people talking about the imagination over logic. So it's after the pre-Enlightenment era, and into the Romantic era before we actually had the Enlightenment itself. Or neoclassical, it was called back then. But anyway, the idea is that imagination over logic, over the sciences. And in America, you had a country who was looked down on by the rest of the world. This was this little backwater country or whatever, even still to the point of the Civil War here. But the one thing we did have was land, and we had the sweeping, sublime landscapes and supernatural-ish, breathtaking beauty of it. So people did try to take on that aspect with their art, whether visual, novels or whatever, and the rustic individual spirit that coupled with Rousseau's noble savage. And so yeah, these archetypes, American Romanticism is indivisible, I think, from them.
Now, I believe they did have machine guns during the Civil War, but weren't they mounted? I mean, were they limited use?
They were mounted. They're not a high production item. Same with repeater rifles. You had 7-shot Henry rifles, which he has later in the movie. 7 shots is better than 1. I mean, in my opinion. but there was in the hierarchy of the military, there was a disdain for them because a trained soldier can use a one-shot rifle. You can fire 3 shots per minute. And it's always hard to transition to new technology. You had the same problem in World War I and then World War II. World War II, I don't think I can say his name, but he wanted to plow across Europe. And the generals that he had was like, no, you can't do that. And he's like, you can. You send the tanks out and you cross everything, and then you have time for other people to come up behind. Same with airplanes. All technology butts head, always.
So he's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, he probably figures he's got less than a 50-50 chance to take his leg.
Yeah.
But here you're going to hear, it's called the Cisco theme. You're going to hear it one other time in this film. You're going to hear it coming up. And then, spoiler alert, when Cisco dies towards the end of the movie, you get to hear it again. You're also going to hear a chorus here in a couple of seconds.
So really, you've got the armies there just entrenched, and they're it's just basically it's for a soldier that's just hell. Trench fighting, never knowing when it's going to end. Are you going to die? Whose side's going to win? And he's just forcing it to a point here by taunting them like this. It's also showing the absurdity of the war. Like let's just do this like men. His friend there in the trench just said we could just settle this all over a high stakes poker game. And what is he doing? He's basically gambling with his life. He's doing a high stakes poker game here. And it's very much like the Red Badge of Courage. If you've ever seen that one, it takes one soldier out there doing something crazy, stupid / brave to rally up all of the troops to run out and charge and get this stalemate over with.
Like Wonder Woman, right?
That's right. But the real Wonder Woman, not Gal Gadot.
Okay. Here you have like the full sweeping Dances with Wolves theme right here. Very triumphant, very moving. Generals are riding in.
Yeah, it's yeah, I can hear what you're saying. It's more sweeping rather than intimate. Yeah, that's a good point. It makes sense though, because this is the whole cavalry coming in, quite literally.
Cavalry coming in, yeah. But it's still the John Dunbar theme. John Barry's been critiqued over the years for writing one theme for a movie and then just playing the hell out of it. Here he wrote, depending on what reviews you're reading, we're between like 9 to 11 different themes. And that's pretty much the bulk of the score, but that's a lot of themes to write for one film. This is also Barry's longest score at just over 100 minutes. But it's a 3-hour movie, so I would expect a decent score.
Do you own the full score, Daniel?
Yes, there are 3 versions of this. I have the original, and then several years later they came out with a complete score. And then like 2 years ago they came out with a more complete score, which I bought this summer when La La Land had the 30% off coupon. I was like, well, I'll go ahead and buy it. And I was trying to find them today. I don't know where they're at. When I started redoing the house, like all my CDs got shifted around. I can't locate them. But I have all 3 versions.
I still have a bunch that I need to put in the mail to you this week from Al.
Well, that would be cool. Thank you.
Yes,
I like
absolutely.
packages.
It'll be a good one.
I still got your T-shirt right here.
Oh, sweet. What is that?
It's the Doc Nocturnal T-shirt.
Oh, the Doc Nocturnal. That's right. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I got your comic book. Thank you so much.
Very cool. Glad you like.
And I got a Verizon credit card out too.
You got a
I didn't
what?
send you that.
Verizon
Beware.
wants me to get their credit card.
Beware. Okay.
I have all my mail right here, so it's like, and I got a light.
And an issue of Playbill, right? I'm kidding. I shouldn't bring up
Lansing-
Howard the Duck during the
Lansing
stream.
catalog.
Playbill. Oh, that's right. Howard the Duck. I forgot about
Yes.
that.
We shouldn't be talking about that during Massive Wolf Street. This is a good movie.
That was a John Barry film score, though.
Oh
Was
my
it really?
goodness.
Okay.
It, yes. And Entrada just released the complete score a couple months back.
I only seen that film once as a child, and I thought it was cool. I didn't know any better.
I
don't
did
know
too.
what-
I liked it.
Yeah.
So, would you want to be a frontiersman literary character, Professor Geek? And if
Oh,
so,
no.
which one? No.
No, I like my technology. I don't want to live out there on,
Okay.
on the fringe.
Hey,
I'd be
Boomer,
more.
what about you?
I don't know. There is a sort of a romantic notion about the frontier for me. The one thing I can get away from everybody that I don't like, there's that.
It's true.
know. But the government won't be watching everything I do. I mean, I think there's freedom on the frontier. There's danger too, though. So there's that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and probably discomfort. But
Can you have freedom without danger, though? And this may be too
That's true.
philosophical for tonight's discussion.
yeah,
But-
No, that's true.
Yeah.
The cool thing about the frontiersman is he tries to keep that dangerous, uncertain space safe, not just for the American citizens, but also for the natives that are there. You know, whether it's Daniel Boone, Hawkeye from Last of the Mohicans, or or Dances with Wolves here. You know, he's not a conqueror. He's not trying to expand the U.S. empire. He's just trying to keep that uncertain space safe. That's the appeal of the frontiersman.
now here's a man who I think the frontier is getting to him.
Yeah,
Nobody's talking to.
I've never fully understood this. I realized by him dying, then nobody knows where John Dunbar is. He's like the last link to civilization for John Dunbar. Well, that and Timmons, but Timmons dies too. So at that point, he's completely cut off. Did either of y'all ever read the book?
No, is it worth it? Should we?
I haven't read it. I know
Okay.
this started out as a screenplay. Kevin Costner liked it. He told the guy to write it as a book. He wrote it as a book. Then it was made into a film.
Interesting. Memento turned out the same way. That I think was written at least as a novella, I think, and then they made it, and I think it was maybe while they were working on the movie or before they made it to the movie as like a base. I am curious, though. I didn't realize this was written as a novel at the same time the screenplay was being written. That's interesting to me. Okay.
Yeah, it actually won. Of course, it won 7 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Director, Adapted Screenplay, Film Editing, Cinematography, Best Original Score, and Sound Mixing.
Who is this actor? The seated guy. I've seen him in stuff before. I can't think of anything though right now.
I've seen him in stuff like he's one of these character actors that would show up a lot in this period, especially in 80s movies. I don't know. I should find out. He looks like the type of actor that would be in Blade Runner or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does kind of.
So it really is tragic. I mean, the things you're hearing here. I mean, these are men who they just can't deal with the horrors of the war, what it's done to them, how it's changed them, and at least Dunbar here is going to try and get out and be reborn in the frontier, but quite a literal death and rebirth, in terms of his character.
Murray, Chaykin. That's the actor.
Chaykin,
Chicken.
because he said, "Here's to my journey."
I just always wonder if the book goes into this a little bit more detail as to why he kills himself.
I'll probably have to look it up. I think this might be a good Audible book for me for commuting to work and whatnot.
Or we could watch the 6-hour version, and then we will probably learn a lot more.
You keep
There's a
saying
6-hour
it's-
version of this movie?
I think so. Yeah.
There's a
Wow.
director's cut. We'll see.
Uh-huh.
I
Wow.
have the original theatrical cut. This was the first time. It's interesting. This movie, you know, like the expression double dip on a DVD. I think this was my first experience for this. I got this on DVD. It was like, oh, great. And then director's cut coming out in 6 months. Are you kidding me? But now I'm wondering if I'm better off with the theatrical version. I'm trying to see. Because 3 hours is still long. I don't know how long this one could be.
This is the Journey theme Barry did. And I want to go somewhere when I listen to this. I don't care if it's Publix or it's Walmart or the car to get something out.
I want to not stop believing.
Not stop believing?
That's a joke.
Okay.
Agent Boomer gets it.
Yeah, it's the Journey song.
Okay.
It's the Journey theme.
That's-
Don't stop believing.
That's a group?
It was a joke on the
Yeah.
show Glee how the guy always made them do Journey songs, and like when the kids were complaining, "Hey, come on, kids, there has to be a Journey song we haven't done yet." Yeah, you know, because they did a lot of Journey songs on that show.
Oh well.
Let me see. Dances with Wolves. Here we go. I'm going to find out.
So now he's starting to realize the dangers of the area he's going to. Do love that. I've got to say, you know, I can only imagine what the night sky would have looked like back then, you know, out in the frontier. Oh, just magical. I've been up in the mountains, like West Virginia mountains. And even there, it's so much clearer because you don't have the cities around. Plus you're closer to the sky, basically, you know, outside of the fog and whatnot. And it's really clear and gorgeous. I can only imagine what it would look like back then.
Does him keeping a journal, is that would you call that a literary trope for a character?
You know, it's a lot of characters do. If anybody's played Red Dead Redemption, I think both John Marston in the first one and what's his name in the second one keep journals. That's part of it. It is kind of like the thinking man. It's part of the idea of the noble savage too, as it carried over to the frontiersman. You know, we may not be incredibly smart, but we are introspective. You know, that's the idea. So writing things down, keeping a intellectual life, an interior life going along to process all of the things you see. And he's brilliantly juxtaposed with that idiot there next to him. Just, you know,
it's a good way to do exposition in this film because there's not a lot of people to offer.
yeah.
The director's cut of this movie, the special edition, is 4 hours long. So it's an hour's worth extra of scenes.
How long was the original version?
3 hours. No, and it came out, they released it again in theaters with a 4-hour cut, which I thought was interesting. They would do that. But one thing, though, I think that does keep us interested is that all of this is new in his eyes, and it's new in the audience's eyes as well. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, we're experiencing this all firsthand. So I think the journal helps with that as well. This is a new experience for all of us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is mean.
Oh man. You poked me in my butt. It's a pretty horse.
It is a pretty horse.
But you see those images like of him nuzzling the horse there. There's the idea he's close to nature, right? He's the frontiersman. He's the American romantic hero even. He's got a in touch with nature that while he's looking at the stars, the other guy's just, you know, passing gas by the campfire, you know, so he's got a stronger link with it. And that's true of even heroes like the Lone Ranger, right? They're going to be more strongly linked to nature than those around them.
I will say this about Timmons. He is kind of crass, but when he's getting killed, he says, "Don't hurt my mules.
Yes.
They're good mules. Don't hurt my mules."
Yeah.
And for me, that completely redeems the character.
Mm-hmm.
yes, he's foul, but he loves his mules.
Mm-hmm. That sweeping landscape. That's right out of early American Romantic painting.
So Dunbar is running toward the frontier, and he's not running away from civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if he's a lieutenant, he had to come from a decent family background.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they promote him when after his
He was still an officer, though. If he wasn't an officer, he wouldn't have had that uniform.
Okay, yeah, it's true. All right, gang. I'm sorry. I'd love to sit here and watch the whole movie with you, but I've got to be prudent and get a little schoolwork done. But good hanging out with you for a little bit anyway.
Schoolwork can wait. It's only schoolwork.
I know.
It's not important.
I know. Got the
no.
Got the holiday week coming up.
I remember being in school, and when you're in the thick of it, you'd rather do anything else and just watch a movie or play a game. Absolutely. But you have to do that schoolwork. You know, his thoughts will be on wanting to watch this movie. Yeah, but you got to do it.
Yeah, but I'll check in with you guys in the chat in a little bit. And thanks for having me, Daniel. I'll come back definitely. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you for coming. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Good night. I forgot to tell the professor if he gets stars, he can watch marathon all of Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Wow.
I don't.
Is that
know if his cup. What?
Is that
it's based. Movies? It's a series that was based on the horror movies, but it's all right. This fort looks not like a not good living space to me.
It doesn't look very fortified either.
Well, I have here, there's a big article written inside the sleeve of this DVD, and the final paragraph is about the score. I'll read it to you. The musical score for Dances with Wolves was composed and conducted by multiple Academy Award winner John Barry. Born Free, Midnight Cowboy, The Lion in Winter, many James Bond films, and Out of Africa. Singer-songwriter John Coleman, who served as the movie's music consultant, worked with such Native Americans as Sybert Young Bear, a member of the Porcupine Singers, to help portray the Lakota music and dance with utmost authenticity. As a result, Young Bear choreographed buffalo and scalp dances that had not been recreated in more than 120 years. What do you think?
I didn't realize that. That's interesting. So like the dances they do are like true legit dances.
Yep.
Wow. So would you stay or would you just turn around and go back if you were him?
With I were who? Costner or Dunbar? He doesn't. No, he doesn't want to go back.
But what would you do?
What would I do? No, I don't know. That's a good question. I think he does the right things, but I don't know if I would be smart enough to think of doing them. Okay, I'll put it to you that way, okay?
Yeah.
I'd probably be like, I got this gun. You better get away from me. Then I get an arrow in my forearm, and I'm like, okay.
I got 6 bullets in here.
Now, who was in the fort before him, though?
There was a whole group of people there. I think in the expanded version, it explains what happened to him.
Oh, that's the remnants that he finds. Yes, okay.
Here we bring in the John Dunbar theme.
Mm-hmm.
Quiet on the strings.
Ooh, Dances with Wolves 2-disc anniversary edition. $8.96.
Is that the CD or the DVD?
DVD.
Okay.
Number of discs 2. Oh! Nasty customer review. Worse than the theater version. Okay.
Dumbass. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but you can still be dumb.
I don't know. You know what? This might be one for me to hunt out. Maybe the public library has a director's cut of this movie somewhere. Maybe I'll watch it sometime. I think the theatrical version's fine as far as I'm concerned, though. 3 hours, that's enough.
I'm pleased with it. I don't feel like I'm lacking anything.
I think when a movie is long enough, I am not feeling like I'm lacking. I'll say with the Lord of the Rings movies, I did appreciate the extended cuts, though. But for most other movies, I don't really need the director's cuts.
Aliens, better. The Abyss was better. I think that's about it.
Melissa Harris was asking us to do a rewatch of Reanimator. I don't know. We'll see. I think you would like the score to Reanimator because it is a parody of the Psycho score.
I saw that movie on TV, which is probably not the place to see it because it had commercials and they cut out all the adult stuff.
Of course.
I hear it's an entirely different movie if you watch it and it's not on TV with commercials.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Huh.
But let me see here, though. Actually, one suggestion I might have, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Young Sherlock Holmes.
No, I think Bruce Broughton did the score, though.
Yeah, that might be an interesting one to watch around Christmas time or even in the Christmas season because it takes place at Christmas time. And
really? Okay.
Yes.
I'm always
it's
down for another Christmas movie.
Yeah, well, it's not even really a Christmas movie, but it takes place at Christmas time, and it's about a teenage Sherlock Holmes. And it had a great score. In fact, that one did get re-released, and I wonder if you can still get it. 3 CDs original, $40 it looks like. Here we go. Here we see the
This is when he finds the dead buffalo. I think it's a buffalo.
No. Oh, yeah, this is where he finds it. Okay.
Yeah, Bruce Broughton did the score. Oh, it's a deer. I'm sorry.
See, the Frontier would interest me, but I wouldn't want to be all by myself. You know what I'm saying? I would still be there'd be some remnants of a community. You know.
Yeah.
Like the old West towns you always see. You know, there's a church in the area, there's a saloon, that sort of thing. You know, where it's not complete.
If you get hurt, you're hurt.
Yeah. Plus, I think a lot of the big draw, though, back in those days, was you'd get free land, okay?
You would.
Yeah, that was, if you remember the movie Far and Away. Did you ever see Far and Away?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and that might be a good rewatch sometime, but...
John Williams film score with the Chieftains.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My ancestors had land in the country, but it was in New Jersey.
They have country in New Jersey?
Oh, yeah, it's the Garden State. There are 2 New Jerseys. There's like the urban New Jersey, and then there's the country New Jersey, but they had a lot.
New York's the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
New York, upstate New York's beautiful. Oh, yeah. Lord.
Yeah, my ancestors were farmers.
Now, this represents a good subversion of expectations, to quote Ryan Johnson. He just burnt that deer. He realized the smoke he just made. You cut to these Indians talking about a white man burning something. And you think, oh, they're going to get Kevin Costner. But it's not. It's Timmons.
Yeah.
That's a good subversion of expectations.
I thought he was a goner. These guys kind of want to just go home. They don't want any trouble, and he's like, "No, I'm done."
No, come on.
He's the bad apple. Okay.
He was the bad guy in Last of the Mohicans too.
That's right. I have that movie as well. Yeah. And here we go. Because that's where the smoke is that they're seeing is coming from. He has to make his bacon.
Yep.
This is why he needed beef jerky.
And a rifle. And a shotgun. And 2 pistols.
Now, this is not an honorable kill, okay?
No.
And I would imagine the men of the Lakota tribe might, I don't think they would have done something like this, yeah.
And the first time I saw this just struck me as a very violent scene.
It is a violent scene. I mean, again, they're not showing a ton. But actually, no, even if, I'll be blunt, if you show a scene with arrows and blood, yeah, that's pretty nasty. That's a bad way to go, getting hit with arrows. Oh.
Because that's a lung puncture right there.
Yeah. Not only does he get hit with the arrows, but we see what's going to come next, too. This is a very bad way to go. Oh.
You really feel this death. I mean, you this is murder. You feel this murder.
Oh, yeah.
Right here, don't hurt my mules. And you bring back the John Dunbar theme, which doesn't really have anything to do with this, but it works. It's like in Star Wars when Obi-Wan dies and you bring in Princess Leia's theme. Why?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It works. It just works.
Yeah. You just leave him there.
You just feel bad for him. It's like they took your mules and left you for dead.
I mean, he was obnoxious, but he didn't deserve to die in that manner, you know?
Yeah.
It's like...
And he cared. I'm beating a dead horse here, no pun intended. He really did care about his mules, and I respect that. I really respect that.
It gives him more humanity.
It does.
And I think that's important because you don't, I mean, it's a horrific scene as it is, but you don't want the audience, disliking the guy that they don't care. He has some good qualities. I think that's also another point.
Yeah.
All right. That ain't much of a fort, though, I got to say.
No, it's not. But, when I went to Scotland, I'm like, that's a castle? Okay. It's like you have these lofty visions of what something is until you actually see it in real life. And it's like, oh, okay. That's silly.
And we got 2 socks.
The 2 socks theme, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. It's so simple and soft. Bring in the flute, bring in some strings. Very soft. It just floats like air.
Mm-hmm.
The day Kayla died, she was my last in Malamute. Like around midnight, I heard whining, and so I woke up and I thought it was Addison. So I put her outside. She came in, went back to bed. Then I heard whining, and I thought, well, who is it? This is Elizabeth? No. And then on the third time, I figured out it was Kayla. She was trying to stand up, but she couldn't stand up. She had terminal arthritis.
Oh.
And it reaches the point. It's just like, you're fucked. That's it.
I know.
And she couldn't stand up. And I'm like, okay, this is it. I knew this was coming, but this is it. And she always slept underneath the kitchen table, which is now my work table. But I laid on the kitchen floor with her 3 hours till the bed opened, and then we went in. And I had Kayla for a long time. And Kayla's like my wolf princess.
I know. Our same thing happened to our last dog too. I mean, it just got to the point where she was just in too much pain. We had to take her in.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
But I listened to this, while I was waiting for the vet to come in. I listened to the Two Socks theme and the Love theme and the John Dunbar theme. And it's impossible not to associate the music with Kayla.
Yep.
And it's like, they come in and they put the injection in, and you hear the music in your head and you're holding her, and it's just, I don't know, that's good music. If it can touch you and stay with you.
Exactly.
It's done what it needs to do. And it's hard to separate the themes from that moment in time.
Well, that's why people, when they hear certain songs, they cry or they laugh or they something hits them, because it's same can go for movies or anything else too. Sometimes you do remember where you were when you first experienced it. Of course, with you had heard the score before that happened, right?
Oh yeah, I got this in high school, so I've been listening to this for 28 years at that point in time.
So here we are. We're seeing another native, and we're wondering what could happen. Is Dunbar in some danger? But
and
probably not.
It is a bit unsettling with the drums and the distant trumpets. It gives you an unsettling air. Although he doesn't look as scary as the other guys.
No, and he's fast on his feet.
If I saw a naked man walking towards me, I'd be like, hey, let me go over here.
Oh, here we go. This is from moviemusicuk.us. And the title of that track was You There. And it says, in You There, a Sioux Indian makes a surprise visit to the fort. John is defenseless and naked from a bath and hides out of sight. Textual writing with random percussion strikes and shifting string figures so danger and unease. When the Sioux tries to take Cisco, John will have none of it and charges the man naked and shouting, which causes him to flee. I meant to ask the professor when he was here, but I assumed that the genre of movie that this is a Western, right?
I would say so.
Yes.
I think this was the first Western I ever saw.
Yeah, the West is the center of American culture. So if I'm to follow real Ghostbusters, that's what it said on there. And I'm not even paying attention to the chat. Hold on, let me get this back up.
Melissa Harris, what's your favorite Western movie? Or if you haven't already said.
figure out what my favorite Western is. I have a lot of them. High Noon's a big one. I do enjoy that one a lot, immensely. The original High Noon with Gary Cooper. A lot of Clint Eastwood Westerns I love. Big fan of Pale Rider. Of course, the Sergio Leone Man with No Name trilogy, like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more. I love those. I always love nice, clear subtitles I can read. You know?
That was a hard selling point for this film because people thought no one's going to want to read a movie for 3 hours.
Yeah, see, again, I don't mind. I don't mind subtitles at all. Like I said, I do watch quite a bit of Japanese animation with the English subtitles, and like languages, especially from the East, we have less of a. I think we in the West have less of a context for mannerisms and stuff. We really have to concentrate. So going from that to watching a movie in French with subtitles is like nothing, you know, because like it's so much easier.
You know, I don't think they would make this movie today. This was made for $22 million. It made $424.2 million at the box office, the fourth biggest film of the year.
Hard to say. I mean, they still. Well, not this year.
Netflix would make this, but like, would Disney make this? No.
No, but we still get. It's hard to say because we're having a lot of shifting in entertainment now. Like we had good movies last year. We had Ford versus Ferrari. That was a race car movie that took place in the '60s. You know, and of course that's a true story. And we had 1917. But to be fair, I think both of those are based on true stories, and this is a. This is actually a fictional telling. I don't know. I don't know if they would make this movie today or not. I don't know if it would probably be harder to get made today. I'll say that. Yes. We get Westerns once in a blue moon. In fact,
I feel like in the 90s, they took more chances with films.
Oh, 90s was actually, we tend to overlook the 90s, but 90s you saw a lot of risk taking with movies.
Falling Down with Michael Douglas. They wouldn't make that film today.
A lot of stuff. I remember New Line Cinema would put out very experimental movies. They did stuff like Dark City. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw Dark City. Fight Club, that's another one, 20th Century Fox. I mean, they took a lot of chances with movies in the 90s. I'm not seeing that. Yeah, I'm not seeing that as much today. I think a big problem, actually, I'll be blunt, is the people not wanting to go, them steering away from R-rated movies. And I'm trying to figure out, what was this rated?
This was PG-13. Okay,
never mind then. I mean, so was Ford versus Ferrari. You kind of have great. I think, you know what I think? I do think a lot of movies these days, and I think one of the reasons why we get the kind of movies we do, I think they're gearing toward a teenage audience.
Yeah.
That's why we see fewer R-rated films, and and it's not to say that movies geared toward a teenage audience are bad, but I do think that was where a lot of the decision making was coming from. Who has the money to spend? And I mean, Steven Spielberg had problems getting Lincoln off the ground. Okay,
that's true, and that's Spielberg.
Another big problem is you're trying to sell movies. Hollywood is trying to sell movies worldwide to a certain markets like China.
Yeah.
And his Dances with Wolves going to fly in China? Maybe. I don't know. I wonder if they would watch a Western over there. I mean. But it's the Hollywood execs. They might say, well, this isn't going to fly over there. Or plus, you could make movies on smaller budgets. What was the budget for this movie?
22.
Yeah, 22 million. And a lot of movies have skyrocketed in costs. And Titanic was the one that blew that up. Titanic was the one, I think, that broke the 100 million mark as far as production went, and the studios were terrified. I think they were thinking it was going to sink Paramount at the time, did well, and boom. Over time, this became a practice. I mean, a base price for a movie, for a blockbuster even, I think back in the day was around 30 to 40 million. That's what a blockbuster cost.
200.
An average movie was 10 million. So this actually was probably higher than the average movie. Like, I think I remember when Wag the Dog came out. I never saw it, but I think that had a budget of around 10 million. And nowadays, I got to imagine shaving is hard on the frontier.
I would think shaving with a straight razor any place would be difficult. And his horse is very close to him. That horse ain't leaving him for nothing.
I love this scene. I'm not afraid of you.
Do you like wind in his hair? He's pretty ballsy guy.
I respect him. I
mean, at the end of the movie, though, he's got the best scene standing up on that cliff saying, I am your friend. Can you not see I am your friend?
Yeah.
To go from this to that.
He grows. He learns. It's not just Dunbar that's learning. It's also the tribe that's learning too, but from him. I mean, I think everyone's growing in this movie. He passes out. You know what? That's realistic.
Oh.
I mean, I think having courage is not about not being afraid. I think it's about doing the right thing even when you are afraid,
That's true.
Yeah.
But I was watching this today and I thought, if these people had Facebook, they would never get along.
No. I think I am wondering where in couple hundred years people will be looking back at this time and thinking, I still feel we don't understand the internet and its implications.
We don't. Hey, there's Network in the house. How are you?
Hey, hi,
What's your favorite Western movie? That's the question of the night.
This I like. This he's smart. Okay.
This is something I would do. I'm like, you just got to get out there. And
you got to make the first move. I love that American flag, by the way. That's a nice design. I don't know how many states we are at this point, but this is, in fact, is this post-Civil? This is post-Civil War, right?
I think the war would still be going on.
Okay.
Maybe at the tail end.
Okay. Because I'm wondering, did they? I should know my history better. Did they have to change the Union flag while the war was going on, and then they had
not because the South was never recognized.
So they never recognized it. Yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't have done it either. But yeah, that was interesting if I was on the Union side. Yeah.
The only thing I would have liked more in this movie is more Two Socks. I would have liked to have seen more of him.
Maybe in the 4-hour cut.
Well, I would hope so. I think they did a real service to the film by not giving her Hollywood actress hair.
No.
Because her hair is a mess in this film.
It's a mess, but I don't mind it.
I don't either, because that's how she wouldn't have Farrah Fawcett hair.
Oh man, look at that. The flag goes right in his face. It's like that of course gets annoying because it's like this is Now, is she what I'm trying to get from this? She grieving over her husband?
Yeah.
At this point,
And
yeah.
I read that was a thing that you do when you're grieving. They would cut themselves.
Right.
I'll just cry and eat some chocolate cake or something, or buy something on eBay.
There you go. I'm tempted. I may have to pick up that the young Sherlock Holmes soundtrack. That may have to be because that was one I always considered.
I can only imagine the stress level. You find her, you bandage her up, and now you try to find where she goes, and you go up to meet them. And the music's kind of heavy right here. It's not obnoxious. It's just quiet and very heavy.
Yeah, let me see if there's anything about this.
But then when you see the Indian tribe, it flourishes a little bit, like the majestic Indian tribe by the river. It's like a nice little picture. But he's still got to go down there and deliver a bloody tribesperson.
Well, but I don't think this really gets him into trouble. Okay. There's a scene later that gets him into some trouble, and I think I know why too.
but I'd be way nervous to do that.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, from this review I'm reading though, the score offers classic Barry romanticism, which graces us with stirring melodic lyricism of uncommon beauty. For me, this effort serves as the career apogee, hope I'm saying that right, of Barry's compositional style, a stunning masterpiece that would never again be duplicated, his magnum opus.
It truly is.
And that's from Craig Lisey.
This was the first film he had done in like 2 or 3 years. He had a ruptured esophagus. I don't know what all that entails, but I don't need to know. It took him out of work for a good
could be
while.
many things. Could be many things.
Something I don't want.
Probably. I don't want. I hope it's not something him and David Carradine have in common. Anyway, let's see. What do we got here? What did he do for Bond films? Dr. No, From Rush with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Diamonds Are Forever, The Man with the Golden Gun. Wow, he did a lot. He didn't do Living
to a Kill, Living Daylights,
Octopussy, Moonraker. Now I want to know who did Live and Let Die. Hold on.
Was it Paul McCartney? Did he do the score too? I know he did.
I'm wondering if he did because I know that he did the song, but let me see.
I wonder how he got the name Kicking Bird. Did he actually kick birds as a child?
From what I learned in class, and I don't know if this is true, but it was usually what I don't know if it was what the mother or the father saw while the child was being born. Okay.
Okay.
So it was something they might have seen when the child was being born. It's interesting. A lot of us, who claim a European heritage, a lot of our last names come from someone's occupation, which I thought was interesting. Like I think one of my ancestors must have been a cobbler. Okay, based on my name. But let me see here. George Martin did the score for. What else did George Martin do? He worked with the Beatles. Okay, that explains it. All right.
Do you have very many of the Bond soundtracks?
I have a few. I think I have Goldfinger. I think I have Thunderball. I have like a disc that's just the songs. I have another disc that's various tracks. I have the Moonraker soundtrack, which oddly enough, I don't think it came with the theme I liked, but it was on the track. It was on the one with the miscellaneous score pieces. So that was weird. Okay. And I'm trying to think. I think I have Spy Who Loved Me. I don't have Diamonds Are Forever, though I have her. I did listen to it once. Okay, that's a good score too. But the Bond scores are a lot of fun.
They are, yeah. David Arnold was a fine successor to John Barry.
Oh, I see.
He hasn't done the last two.
Oh, interesting.
But, I mean, Thomas Newman did Skyfall and Spectre.
Okay.
Hans Zimmer's doing the new one.
We'll see.
That's the only thing I'm looking forward to about the new Bond movie is the Hans Zimmer score. I'm interested to hear that. I probably will not be watching the movie.
Well, I liked Zimmer's score to Blade Runner 2049. I did buy that score because I was obsessed with that movie for a while, and it was interesting because he did go electronic for that. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a very loud, piercing score. All right. Wait just a minute. Look at this.
Tatanka. Tatanka.
Did you ever hear of the show Parker Lewis Can't Lose?
No.
It was kind of like a knockoff of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but I kind of liked it more. And Parker Lewis was like the cool guy in school that was always getting up to mischief, but he would always get away with it. And he had a sister that hated him. And his sister was terrible, but they were trying to set her up on a date in one episode. And her date says, "Did you see Dances with Wolves?" And she goes, "Lame. Tatanka." It's like, I guess the point was, everybody likes Dance with Wolves, but she hates it, It's like,
Tatanka.
Buffalo. I love the two of them looking at each other. It's like,
the first one, as I call him, seems a very tough fellow. I hope I never have to fight him. From the little I know, he seems to be honest and very direct. I like the quiet one.
the quiet one seems like the scholar of the community, That's what I'm getting
Yeah.
the impression,
I would conclude that
like the wise man,
Graham Greene's had a pretty good career playing Indian characters.
I love the coffee grinder.
Yeah.
I produced a coffee grinder, something none of them have seen before.
You're gonna get something good.
Did you see Wind River? It came out a couple years back.
I did see Wind River. Yeah. Did you?
Did you like it?
I liked it all right. It was a murder mystery.
The coffee not good?
It's kind of sad. It kind of deals with kind of like I don't know where this reservation is. It's cold wherever it is. Jeremy Renner's in it.
Yeah, Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch is in it.
Scarlet Witch are in it. Yeah, it's worth checking out. It's basically a mystery though. And it's in fact, I mystery thriller. It was decent though. I enjoyed it enough. Yeah.
I worked with a kid from Alaska, and he said people up there would just disappear, and that was it. People would just disappear sometimes. I mean, it's always the people in society who are more likely to disappear, but homeless people live on the streets. He says they'll disappear, and that's that.
They'll like disappear. What, like because of weather, or is it some other reason?
I guess the thing is that people murder them, and Alaska's pretty big space.
Oh wow!
And a lot of people got airplanes.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, that's wild.
I knew a woman in the writing program. She was from Alaska, and I have to say, just the descriptions. I mean, isn't that where part of the year it's all dark? I believe.
Yeah.
It's like that. Talk about the frontier. I mean, I think Alaska in some ways is still the frontier. You know, it's like, stands with fists. What is this?
I always think of her as President Rosalind
from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
I remember the season where Mr. Gaeta was trying to launch the coup. Remember?
Yeah.
And I saw the commercials, and she says, "We have a." It was Odama, right? That was the general or admiral, and they said, "We have him," and she goes, or yield, and she goes, "Not now, not ever. We're coming for all of you." And I was like,
and she meant it.
And I felt bad for Mr. Gaeta because he started out as a guy who was not the type of person that would have done that, but he had enough. Yeah. And he got pushed into it. Too many people he loved had died. I mean, and he was just. It was.
I think Dee's suicide affected him a lot more than anybody else.
Yeah. He after that happened, he was done. He's saying this isn't working, and he launched a coup, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, I do remember her from that show. This actress, I wish I knew her name. She shows up in a lot of television series, movies when they need someone playing an American Indian from any tribe. I've seen her a lot of things. Last thing I saw her on was Stumptown on ABC. She was on that.
I buy them as being married completely. They're very good together.
It's a couple, yeah. We're getting the flashback now.
Yeah, and the music starts out kind of dreamy, but it changes fast.
Yeah, in fact, I have something on that here. This is it's
almost music box feel to it, but man, it turns on a dime. And that is Kevin Costner's daughter right there.
Oh, really? Huh. What if she ever went into acting later on?
I don't think so, because I couldn't find anything on her aside from this.
I thought I had something Two Socks theme. Sorry, I thought we had something here. Okay, I thought I had something here on this. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Stands with Fist Remembers. That's the title of this track, right?
Yes.
Reveals her having a flashback to that terrible day when a Pawnee raiding party killed her family. Barry brings home the pain and horror of the memory with grim interplay of the ghostly voices and violent themes. Yeah. It doesn't last that long, but it makes an impact. Come on, Two Socks. Oh, actually, it's funny. Maybe I remembered it from the movie. I don't know because it just popped out of my mouth. He won't eat from my hand.
They used 2 different wolves for Two Socks.
So I'm assuming Stands with Fists was the first time the tribe saw the young girl. She was standing with her fist in the air, right?
She knocked out a woman that was mean to her.
Oh, okay. So in some ways, it's like a nickname.
Yeah. Like Birdman.
There you
or
go.
H Boomer. Or Netter's Network.
Yeah, the Agent Boomer thing came from that line. You know, when even Gen Xers are starting to feel like boomers now compared to the young people, you know, like I'm a fan of what's in video game form, what's known now as a boomer shooter. Okay.
Boomer shooter.
Yeah, like Doom, Quake, those old games from the
Okay.
90s. Yeah. They were actually very fast paced. And now they're kind of doing, there's like a retro thing going where they're remaking where they're making games in that style using the old engines.
How would that be a warm blanket?
Most progress has been built on failure rather than success.
That's called life, my friend.
Yeah. What did Thomas Edison say? I didn't fail 100 times. I found 100 ways not to make a light bulb. You know?
And how do you make something that's never existed?
I don't know. That was an interesting movie, The Current War. If you get a chance to watch that, it's about Edison versus a Westinghouse. Not bad, actually.
Was that on Netflix?
I don't know if it's on Netflix. It came out in theaters last year, toward the end of last year. So I would imagine it's making to some of the streaming sites at this point. But yeah, I would check it out if it's available to you. Yeah. Tesla's in the movie as well.
The guy that does the cars?
The original Tesla, Nikolai Tesla.
I was joking.
Yeah. Okay, I was about to say. No, Elon Musk was in a movie. It was called Venom. He was the villain. I'm kidding. I argued the villain in Venom was based on Elon Musk. I'm sorry.
Did you see Venom?
It's terrible.
It is? Okay.
Absolutely terrible. I almost want you to watch it so I can talk to somebody about it.
I'll watch it for you. I'll watch it for you.
We'll do
I
a
don't
rewatch.
understand how you can do Venom without Spider-Man, though.
There's a lot in that movie I don't understand. That's a big one, though. Yeah.
And I always thought Venom was just like a straight up bad guy, but
No, he's a good guy that likes to eat people's heads, so that's all right.
oh, okay.
It's
Cool.
completely ridiculous. Don't get me started. It's a good movie. Here we go. We're glad to know that he is here. Now, she hasn't spoken English probably since how old was she? 6 or 7 or
judging the age
something.
of children, but yeah, I'd say 6 to 8.
So I imagine you'd lose it out. You'd lose a lot of that ability after a while.
Yeah, I've lost all my German from college and high school.
Oh, right. I think Tom Savini once remarked that he used to be fluent in Italian as a child, but he lost it when he became an adult. But then when he met Dario Argento, he started speaking it again. It was weird, he said, you know.
And she does a really good job of struggling to talk English.
That's an idea. Maybe I should learn Italian.
Italian's a lot like Spanish, so you could probably learn both.
Yeah. More kicking. Kicking bird. Could be a bird kicking another bird from what they were saying it, right?
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. That's a valid point.
I am going to say something too about him. He's in the frontier, but he's keeping himself as well groomed as he can. Okay.
Yeah, I
Unlike,
think that's the army in him.
Yeah, if you looked at I guess his superior, I would wonder when he ran into him at the showing up. That guy wasn't keeping himself in good shape. Neither was, of course, the guy driving him there, eating his pickled eggs and whatnot. But
pickled eggs, gross.
Have you ever had a pickled egg?
I don't need to have a pickled egg.
They sell them in the grocery store. You can buy a jar of them.
No, I'm okay.
I've never eaten them. I've always been curious. If one's offered to me, I'll try it, but I'm not going to buy one. You know.
I'm not a big egg person, so.
Oh, I see. I like eggs. If I'm out, I get them sunny side up. If I have them at home, it's always scrambled, though. Stands. Your name stands. I'm telling you, though, I wonder if a modern audience would have patience for this scene right here. Think about it. And what was the professor talking about last night about attention spans?
Yeah.
Probably, I'll be blunt. If they were going to do something like this today, it wouldn't be a theatrical movie. It would be a limited series. It would be something on HBO or the History Channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they would do that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't quite get the grandeur or the spectacle that you would get in a theatrical movie when you do something for television. Doesn't mean that stuff for television is bad. Don't get me wrong.
I'm really worried about the future of motion pictures.
Well, I am too, because if they can't get theaters back, it might be over. And you'll still get movies, but it's always going to be lingering in my head. You know, was this made for the big screen or was this made for the small screen? And you can usually tell. This shot right here. Okay, you see them all. You see 3 small bodies in the distance. I don't think they would make that for a television screen.
No, more people. Them youngins or just tablet. You know, that's what they got.
Oh, don't even get me started on the tablet. I need to send you. I can't repeat what David Lynch said, but there's a scene about watching movies on your iPhone where he talks about that. You may think you've watched a movie on your iPhone, but you're on your phone, but you have not watched a movie on your phone. And then you will miss the grand. He's saying all these nice flowery words about how great it is to see a movie on the big screen, and then he ends with something very nasty. He's like, get real, okay? You know, and he said, and then someone turned it into an Apple iPhone ad, and like they put the Apple iPhone thing at the end, you know, like, David Lynch, he's a bit of a weird duck, but I do like his stuff. Oh man. Now I'm hearing rushing, and I was wondering what it was when I was rewatching this. Is the cavalry coming in to remand the fort? That's what I was thinking.
That's the buffalo.
Yeah, that's the buffalo. Because I was thinking, you know, okay, we're gonna take care of these. Well, I won't use the word, but when they used on Johnny Quest.
If I was a buffalo, I would probably just sleep at night. I don't think I'd be out running, but.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, yeah, we're about to get to the scene where he gets into some trouble. Okay, with the tribe. And I imagine what he's doing, we like the equivalent of you running into the middle of like a church service for us, you know?
Probably so.
Yeah, and it'd be like, you know, they're like, what are you doing? You know, there's a time and a place. But of course, when he told them the buffalo were back, maybe they took that as a sign. Okay. As for all I know, that's what they were doing the stuff for.
And these are real buffalo too. This is not CGI.
Yes. Something's lost. They have gotten better with CG animals. I'll say that. And you know, but I remember watching the sequel to The Ring. I think it was The Ring 2 when it came out in theaters. I actually went to the theater to see that, and there were some deer in it, but they were CG deer, and they did not look real.
Did you see Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford?
I have not. Have you?
No, because it's not a real dog, and just.
Oh, I see.
It's a real dog. You know.
They used a computer animated. I haven't seen it. That one kind of flew by me. Yeah, I recommend Wind River.
I don't mind. Wonderful film.
I don't mind a good thriller. Because I can enjoy a good thriller. What we used to call suspense movies. I can't stand bad thrillers though, and Hollywood makes a lot of bad thrillers. Okay,
they do.
But a good suspense movie. Sometimes bad thrillers are fun to watch just because they're bad, but it's Tatanka. Yeah, you better use the right word, pal.
I remember that line in Wind River where they shot the guy and he doesn't have long, and Scarlet Witch is like, well, we need to call. And he called for EMTs, and he's like, that's an hour and a half away. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of like being on the frontier too, because it's like, no, you don't have backup, you don't have help, you don't have a hospital, you just out there.
I'm curious, where did Wind River take place? Hold on. So I'm gonna start thinking about another movie that took place in the Ozarks with what's her name? It's considered a neo-Western murder mystery. Pick a genre, please. Okay.
Yeah. No. Pick three.
But well, I would argue that you can make a modern Western. Okay. I argue that one of the pieces of writing I was doing the program was shaping up like a Western. Of course, I don't think they cared for that, but it was taking place in modern times. Just that there are parts of the country that are still, like that. Where does that take place?
Justified on FX, but would you consider that a modern Western?
Probably. I need to watch Justified. My sister's gonna murder me. She bought me that on DVD. The whole series, like seasons at a time. I need to watch it. But apparently people loved it. Timothy Olyphant, he's a good actor, so I do need to watch Justified. Maybe that'll be the next series I pick up. I'm watching
The Shield.
I did watch The Shield. I know the one actor was on it from The Shield, the guy who always plays. I think he played. Yeah. Oh, The Shield. That was a rough series. It's funny because my sister got me The Shield and she got me The Wire. I still have to watch The Wire, but I figured I'd go with The Shield first because they were both made by former writers of one of my favorite shows from the '90s, Homicide, Life on the Streets, and they're both cop shows. But Shield would get raw at times.
They would not make that show today on
No.
network.
I don't know though, because Sons of Anarchy is. I'm not going to say it's a successor to The Shield, but it was done by a lot of the same people. And the Sons of Anarchy takes place in the same universe as The Shield. Like a lot of the gangs they ran into on The Shield,
Really?
they show up on Sons of Anarchy, like the 1-9ers and stuff. They're in Sons of Anarchy. And now I know that they have a show called The Mayans, which I haven't seen. But that was the Mayans were another biker gang that the Sons of Anarchy dealt with on Sons of Anarchy, and now they're doing the show about the Mayans, which is, of course, is a like a Latin biker gang, So I may have to check that out eventually. But even Sons of Anarchy would get raw sometimes too. I mean,
so right here, you took the Dances with Wolves theme and you just kind of toned it down.
Yeah. Well, this is horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the waist. Yeah, this I remember watching in class. I think people would shoot at buffalo from trains when the train got built too.
Yeah,
it's terrible. People didn't. I don't think we can fathom that now. But I mean, even when people hunt these days, they're usually following guidelines and being more responsible. But back
you
then,
have to, because if you get caught and you're not doing it,
you're in trouble. Yeah,
you're in trouble.
So you're not going to be going after a species like they did these days. Because you see this and you're like, oh dear, all the, is it too late?
I feel really bad for that calf.
Yeah. I imagine Dunbar's. Yes, it's my kind. Okay.
Did you see Gorillas in the Mist way back in the day? Back in the
80s?
80s?
I've never seen Gorillas in the Mist. It's a movie I should watch. I should make a list, do a bucket list of great movies I need to watch, and I'm sure Gorillas in the Mist is one of them. I know Sigourney Weaver was in that, right?
She was. She's a anthropologist studying gorillas. And she names them all.
Jane Goodall, right? Based on a real person, right? Yeah.
Diane Fossey, who worked for Jane Goodall.
Oh, Diane Fossey. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And she got real close to one of the gorillas, and poachers come and they chop off the hands because people want. I don't know why they want a gorilla hand, but they killed one of her favorite gorillas and they chopped off his hands and his head and just left his body there.
That's horrible.
That scene kind of reminds you of this scene. And this scene with him sleeping outside of the Indian camp, that's very, it's making a statement. That's a lot of buffalo. Have you ever seen a real life buffalo?
I have not. I'm trying to remember if I've ever eaten buffalo.
It's very tasty.
I don't think I have. I think I've thought about doing it. I might have a buffalo jerky once. I think I had buffalo jerky once. That was about it. It's funny. This one chain, I think, had buffalo burgers you could buy. I'd be curious. But no, I've never seen a buffalo.
There's a farm outside Nashville that's got some, they're like so huge. Oh, massive creature. I mean, I would probably have one if, animal control wouldn't be, knocking on my door being like, can we talk?
So what are we dealing with, though? Is this the agrarian society versus hunter-gatherer? I don't know.
I think Plains Indians were more hunter-gatherers than Aquarian.
Well, that's my point. I guess the white settlers would be more the agrarian because there's so many
Yeah.
farms. Of course, I remember modern books now. If you, I remember reading some nonfiction books about how, like now, the traditional farmers struggling against the corporate farms, and how they were arguing, we're better to the earth than these corporate farms are. I mean, yeah. Look at all those buffalo, though; those are all real.
All real.
So I guess they didn't go extinct. That's good.
Oh no, they're not extinct. They don't just roam across the country like they used to, though.
Well,
This is like the big set piece for the film is the buffalo hunt. Really, I mean, for a score with not a lot of action cues, this is one of the few action cues.
let's see if I got anything on this one.
This almost sounds like something Aaron Copland would have composed.
Now, this is what's known as the buffalo theme, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It says a bridge by lyrical strings unleashes at 1 minute 19 seconds the rousing kinetic power of the buffalo hunt theme, which resounds on unison trombones noble and strings animetto. Barry infuses Copland-esque auras, yeah, okay, and chorus to propel the hunt, which enrich the music's grandeur and emotive power. You think they do this with CG today?
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about this. This was all made on $22 million. I mean, I know that's a lot of money, but still, I felt like it went further back then. Of course, I've argued a lot of modern movies that are over 100 million. I do sometimes wonder if there's creative accounting going on.
Yeah.
But probably shouldn't mention this while we're looking at this beautiful scene.
And Kevin Costner footed a lot of the bill for this film.
Mm-hmm.
They were going over budget, and he said, "Well, just take my paycheck."
Ha! I'm sure he made it back.
Yeah, he did. But at the time, he didn't know he was going to make it back.
He wanted the movie to get made. He was in it for the art.
He loved the film. He loved the story. I got to ask myself, does Michael Bay love Transformers 2? Does he's just got to tell Transformers 2? I don't think so.
No, he do, what are you talking about? No. Michael, listen to me. Michael Bay wants to be making movies about the American military, okay? Those are the types of movies he wants to be doing. That's why they always show prominently in those Transformers movies. And, to that I say, okay, I don't have an issue with that, okay? Make military movies. Make a good one. Yeah, make a good one. And he did. I think, what was it?
13 hours?
13 hours. Have you seen that movie?
I have the soundtrack.
That's rough. Oh, that's a fascinating movie. I mean, it was shot on high definition cameras, but John Krasinski's in it. That was about the Benghazi disaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and granted, some would argue, well, those are mercenaries, not soldiers, but they're soldiers as far as I'm concerned. The guys in that movie, Oh man, that was another great movie of the last decade. 13 Hours. I didn't think about that one. I might put that on the top 10 list. Yeah, that was a good movie. It's almost like a spiritual sequel to Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, I think if they were mercenaries, they wouldn't have gone into the harm's way without.
They wouldn't have. They were even
yeah,
told not to, and they say we're gonna protect the embassy. Okay.
Yeah, at the end of the day, a mercenary just cares about the paycheck.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and they would have gotten paid to stay put. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, cool.
They weren't going to do it though. What was I going to say though? But if you ever see Black Hawk Down,
Yeah,
it's almost like a spiritual. It's almost like a spiritual sequel to Black Hawk Down because it's kind of a similar. In fact, they even mentioned the movie. This is like Black Hawk Down. And the creepy thing about 13 Hours is that it's a similar style enemy like the one in Black Hawk Down, but it's like the enemy's learning now, you know, like they're still underpowered compared to what we have, but that'd be an interesting double feature, be Black Hawk Down and 13 Hours. All right, so wait a minute.
This is gross.
Here we go.
Yeah, I could not.
You got to do it.
No.
Hey,
They like.
you got to do it.
I don't care how much A1 you put on that. No, it's not. It ain't happening.
You got to do it. It's like your first beer. It's hard to when it go down, but eventually you'll wonder how you lived without it. Okay.
Oh,
isn't that good? You're taking baby bites. You better swallow that.
Like, yeah.
Like, can I have a Coke with that, please? To wash this down with or something? Or like,
maybe some French fries.
Maybe some vodka or something. They got. Is that?
Hey, it's like my house. This is a good scene between these two guys, though.
I'm full. I can't tell the story anymore.
It's like, I'm done partying. He's like, no, party more. Come on, party.
You want to try it?
I'm just gonna throw that rib meat away. Yeah.
Oh, they're doing the trade.
Yep.
Good trade. And this comes into play later on, right?
Yeah.
And there's almost a confrontation, and then it's like, well, this guy will be
It's
traded.
interesting because when Kevin Carter's like, good trade, good trade, and Wyndon is here, it's just like, whatever, But 5 minutes later, he's like, good trade. And it's like, it did get through to him. Good trade. See? He's just like, whatever. Good trade.
No, I can't. I'm full. I'm tired. No,
see, he's
no.
like, whatever. Okay.
Party is just getting started. You're coming along. All right.
One sheep.
Don't your people have holidays? No, not really. I don't even think we had Thanksgiving yet, did we? In the United States at this point. I think did Lincoln make Lincoln made that holiday? I think, right? Go ahead.
Pretty
What?
Much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It started coming out in the Civil War. Lincoln started pushing it.
Take a day off. Come on.
Of course, I think this year they're trying to cancel it all the way around because.
Well, we have to remember you have to be miserable every day. You have to be punished. That's what I'm getting the impression of. Okay. That's my hat. Here we go.
Yep.
You're wearing my hat. It's my hat. You know what he should have said? Possession's 9/10 of the law. Of the law.
Well, I mean, he says, oh, you left it on the.
I found it on the prairie. Okay, it would have been lost if I hadn't found it. Okay, you wouldn't have gone back for it, know where it was. So I don't know what the issue is. That's probably
give me 1 second. 1/5 needs to go outside. I'll be right back.
All right. Let me check on the chat, see if anyone's. Oh, Melissa loves Johnny Quest. How you doing, Melissa? You still there? All right. It's a soldier hat. It obviously belongs to him. So, you want to keep it, that's all right, but give something for it. Here we go. Okay.
Good trade. He gets a sweet knife out of it.
Just like when you're on the schoolyard and someone wants to borrow one of your NES games, and I'm like, you better give me one of your NES games in return.
Yeah.
That's
more like ransom. I call that ransom.
Yeah. Remember, I traded Tombs and Treasures for Super Mario Brothers 3. And then we traded back later on because no one's going to be giving up Super Mario Brothers 3 for too long, Tombs and Treasures was an odd game. That one took place in, you were archaeologists exploring the ancient Maya city of Chichen Itza. If I'm saying that right. Uh-oh, cover your eyes. No, that's what I think we watched this scene in class too. I wonder if we watched the whole movie in our history class. I don't know if the teacher brought in the videotape.
Yeah, that's the scene they would have cut out in my high school.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because they would have, for the schools, they would have re-edited versions of movies of historical importance. Like I think he showed us a version of Glory that was made specifically for the schools. That was another one. You ever see Glory?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't see anything in Glory that I think should be cut out for a high school audience.
I don't remember what was cut out. I just know that there was a version edited for high school audiences. I don't know what they took out.
Probably some violence and some language.
Probably, yeah, maybe that, yeah.
But war is violent. Let's just be honest about it. It's not pretty.
No. Last week in our movie, Taran wanted to, what if the war's over and I never got a chance to fight? And he's like, the good thing
That's
too.
Okay. That's okay.
War isn't a game. People get hurt. Okay. I'll say this too. I do play war video games though.
Yeah, but that's different.
I like a lot of the tactics style games. More like you're the guy controlling the men on the battlefield versus being on the battlefield.
All right. That's a beautiful sunset. Just that and the score is all you really need.
We had all the meat we could possibly under for 3 days, losing 6 ponies and only 3 men injured. Okay. Never known of people so eager to laugh, so devoted, family so dedicated to each other.
Now, this piece was not composed by John Barry. This was Peter Buffett, who is Warren Buffett's son, by the way.
Huh.
He's like a new age composer. He was real big back in the 90s. Had some albums come out. And this was not on the original release. which irked me at the time because I loved this piece of music. It really stood out first time I saw the film. It's on the re-releases though, but it was not on the original.
Interesting. That happens with a lot of scores, especially if there's like another composer that throws something in. It makes me mad because I'm a big fan of the horror movie Phenomena, but some of the tracks were composed by the band Goblin, or former members of the band Goblin, and then other tracks were by Simon Boswell, if I think was from the Rolling Stones. I think he was a band member of that, and those are never included anywhere. You know, like you can't find those tracks anywhere.
Is there a DVD release with isolated tracks on it?
No, nothing like that for that movie. I do have movies that have isolated tracks on them, though. Let's look at this DVD. Nope, just audio commentary with Costner. A lot of the earlier DVDs, that was one of the bonus features they'd include, was an isolated audio track. Sometimes you do get modern Blu-rays that have isolated audio tracks. I have some Hammer horror movies that have isolated audio tracks on them, which is nice. But yeah, it's hit or miss with isolated scores. I wish that they would have done that with a lot more movies. Enter the Dragon had an isolated score track. At least the original DVD did. I don't know if some subsequent ones did. And I think one of the original DVDs for North by Northwest, the Hitchcock movie, had an isolated track score on it. But I think subsequent releases removed it. Of course, I have the score to that on a CD, so I'm not as broken up about that.
This is the Two Socks That Play track. Same title on all three versions of the soundtrack.
Just where he gets the name, Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
Are they like looking at him now like, how the heck did you pull that off? It's like...
See, he doesn't carry his gun anymore.
Well, does he have to? You know, I don't know.
I would still carry one just cause, but
well, it's still the frontier. Plus, let's be blunt, you have wild animals in the frontier.
I carry a gun all the time. I live in the city. I mean, what the hell?
Probably something I need to get in the habit of doing.
Unfortunately, I would say yes.
It's coming. It's something I'm going to be working on. I did visit a military museum while I was on vacation, and they actually had a practice target range with like a replica pistol. You know, I mean, you weren't actually shooting real bullets, but it was like a. And I wasn't terrible. I mean, considering the fact I have at least 20, 30 vision at the best. You know, I wasn't terrible at it. I also landed a plane on an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, you told me about that. That's
happy
awesome.
about that. That was neat. The guy said, "I did a good job." He said the last guy he had crashed the plane into some forest or something, you know. So all right, so I like this. I've been a warrior longer than most of the young men. Yeah, he helped turn the tide of that one Civil War battle.
Yeah. You know,
you don't understand. What?
There was a sequel novel written to this. I think it took up like 10 or so years after this film. And they're still married and they have kids, and someone comes and kidnaps one of their children. And John Dunbar goes after to rescue his child. But Kevin Costner said he didn't want to do it as a film. He said this was one and done. And you got to respect that.
I think the worry is that you would do it and something would go wrong and it wouldn't be as good. I mean, I think that's what the worry was. I mean, I still think it could have been a great film, but I respect him. He doesn't want to do a sequel. Okay. Who is Dances with Wolves?
I think that would be a fine name to have, though.
Yeah.
Did you ever take a foreign language in school?
Spanish, 2 years in high school, 2 semesters in college.
Can you speak anything?
Not that well, but I got to know the grammar a little bit though. I mean, how the sentence structure worked. I got a
has never been my friend.
what?
Grammar has never been my friend.
Oh right, it's tough. What does Stephen King once say? Pick up a copy of Strunk and White. I imagine I should probably just get that and keep it in my bathroom, from when I'm sitting on the, what.
So we're getting the love theme now in the film. It's just very pretty, simple love theme.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, what's going on? Okay.
So this is where she tells the origin of her name.
Mm-hmm. I hadn't got this far in the repeated viewing. Sometimes she. All right. Well, it's not nice to be called bad names.
No, it's not nice to beat people either.
Not very big, but she fell down and fell hard and didn't move. Wouldn't bother me. Did you ever see Army of Darkness?
Saw parts of it.
There's a wonderful, because he has a shotgun in that, and he says, "This is my boomstick," and he says, "Any of you want to mess with me?" And he keeps taunting them, "Huh? I can't hear you." At that point, he was angry with the medieval guys. All right.
Yeah, never ask a girl on a date, why aren't you married? Why don't you have a boyfriend? Why are you single?
Why are you single? Yes. Why are you not married? Yep, now she's running off. So what's your favorite Western?
Probably this or Unforgiven. I guess it would depend on the day.
Oh, Unforgiven. That's another good Clint Eastwood movie. I saw that in the theater when that came out because I was obsessed with his gunslinger movies. Gene Hackman is really good in that too. Remember Gene Hackman?
Yeah, I can't decide if he's a bad guy in that movie or a good guy.
Well, it's complicated. That movie's a little complicated. That is not a straight up like good versus evil type story. I mean, because I think Eastwood's character was a bad man at one point in his life, right?
Very much so.
Yeah, yes. And like he was probably one of the types of guys he would have shot himself in one of those older westerns he was in, you know.
Yeah.
And Morgan Freeman's in it. I remember he's in it too. A great cast. Richard Harris, I think.
Yeah.
As English Bob. Oh, I love the part with English Bob, how he keeps picking on the idea of American presidents. Now, no one would shoot a queen or a king. You know, he keeps saying that. I think what was it? McKinley had just been assassinated when that was going on in that movie. Yeah. It's just
The Crown Prince of Serbia was shot, though. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, and that was a big disaster for the world.
So it was.
It was a disaster for Europe. I don't think Europe ever recovered. Because that war just fed into.
You know, you're probably right. You're probably right with that.
I think that was it. Have you seen 1917 yet? I probably asked you that on a previous thing, right?
I haven't. They're playing it again at the theater, though.
I recommend it if you can see it in the theater. Yeah, I would recommend seeing it.
Harmonica. Only time in this film you get the John Dunbar theme on the harmonica.
Mm-hmm.
Which, to me, a harmonica in a Western is sitting around the campfire, and you're lonely, and you play the harmonica. I like to say that's intentional, but I don't know for sure. But that's how it comes across. The fort's just getting kind of needs a little bit of work. He's by himself. He misses his friends. You just play the theme on the harmonica. There's something very sweet about it.
Harmonica can be a sad instrument too, though.
It can.
I hear a furry friend in the background.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I think she'll.
No, it's fine.
I fed everyone at like 5 o'clock today.
Oh, did you do it earlier? I mean, upset your schedule. Normally, this wouldn't even be a deal, but I have to get up early the next day. Yeah.
Oh no, I understand. This is still a 3-hour movie.
Well, yeah, it's because of the movie length. Because I didn't even realize, and they're like, oh, the 9 o'clock movie.
Let me get Shelty out. I'll be right back.
All right.
What is this, baby doll?
There's 2 socks again. But you were thinking that why didn't he write? Okay. That's some beef jerky right there, or is it buffalo jerky? Is this the big moment? That's not the movie. That's I wouldn't mind having some of that. All right, we got 2 socks.
Yes.
Take it out of his hand. I was telling anyone listening that wasn't the movie. Take it from his hand.
That is such a beautiful thing.
And he's running off.
I love that flute.
And then morning. Oh.
And I buy their connection. They did a good casting job.
Yep.
Both of them.
What are the other big Kevin Costner movies? There was Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
Bull Durham, that was him, right?
Yep. Field of Dreams.
Yeah, they always said his big thing was either westerns or baseball movies.
It's true.
This wouldn't get made today either. I'm sorry, I'm being sarcastic. It's a positive relationship between a man and a woman. You know,
All the relationships in this movie seem pretty positive.
I know. Even what's his name in the mules.
Timmons with the mules.
Yeah, mules. And his horrible pickled eggs that.
And, you know, I think today they would have made Timmons abuse the mules.
Of course they would. Oh man.
1/5, come here.
Oh, here's the love scene. Yeah, I don't think they would allow a movie with this kind of length today.
Come here, baby. Come here. Mary McDonald is 68 years old today.
Oh?
I mean, today's not her birthday, but today she's currently 68.
Wonder how old she was during when this movie was made. There's a lot of commotion.
38.
Okay. Pawnee are coming.
They come for blood. I know in recent years this movie's gotten a lot of flack for having the white savior.
Oh Lord, yeah, I know. There's no winning with certain types on the internet, okay, or in our thing. You can try and tell as positive story as you want, and they're going to find something wrong with it to shame you into. It's bullying. It's bullying is what it is. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yes, they would have had rifles too.
Yeah. There are people there are people these days that like to use activism as an excuse to bully people. Okay. That's where that term that Sound and Groover doesn't care for. That's what that really means.
1/5.
How old is 1/5?
1/5. I've had him 13 years, but
wow.
he's more than 13.
He sounds lively.
Not like he used to be.
Okay.
He has cancer.
Oh, that stinks.
He's blind in one eye.
Wow.
I thought I was going to lose him this year, but now I'm thinking maybe not. Hopefully not.
Gotcha.
I had him on a whole bunch of medications, and I stopped that, and I think he's doing better off the medications.
Right.
Because you treat one thing and it causes this other problem, and then you got to treat that, and that causes this other problem. And I'm like,
right.
We're not doing this again. Because I did that with Barton. We're just going to let nature take its course and keep him comfortable, and he's doing better. So,
okay. Look.
I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, sure.
One bit. Come here. Come here. Come on. No, not. No cricket. No crickets. No. All right. I don't know what his deal is tonight, but yeah, all these guys can die for killing those dogs.
Yeah, that's how you know they're That's how you know someone's a bad guy, when they do that to a dog. Yeah, that's horrible.
I like the use of I call them kettle drums, but I think they have a fancier name than that, to convey the menace.
One guy's got the coat on.
Probably didn't buy that at Kmart. Hey, this was Kevin Costner's first movie that he directed.
I'm kind of interested to read the book now, though, like the professor was saying. You know, in the old days of Hollywood, at least in the old days of movies, a lot of times writers would adapt their own work into screenplays.
It's true.
That would be a thing that would go on. I kind of wish that would be more the mainstay today, because they would at least know what to cut or whatever, you know.
Mario Puzo did that with The Godfather.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I think that's one of the few where they argue the movie's better. I'd like to read the books in one of these days. And I think he did other Godfather type books, but they weren't about the Corleone family. They were, you know, like I think he has his own trilogy, but the other two are about different mafia families. Maybe they should adapt those, you know? That might be interesting.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
I loved The Sopranos when it was on the air. Oh, no.
Thank you.
Ah, I see him.
Hey.
Look at this. Okay.
Little girl.
Oh, you there, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm being mobbed by a ferocious dog.
Oh, I see.
Hey, girlfriend, get down. There you go.
Horses.
I'll give him credit. This guy's spunky.
All right. We're going to get the one-on-one combat thing. I'm trying to remember how this resolves.
Well, he's kind of surrounded, so yeah, that'll do it.
There's no dark political objective. There's not a fight for territory or riches, or to make men free. Ought to preserve winter food stores to protect women and children.
And that's entirely different from what he knew.
Yeah, but I mean, even in European civilization, that's what it was like in the old days. I mean,
it's true.
If you read the Icelandic sagas, you know, the Vikings and all that, a lot of it is just, you know, they're I'm not kidding you. There was one story in one of those sagas where there was a beached whale, and there was a battle that took place on top of the beached whale, which I think is a little outlandish. But if you think about it, the two groups are fighting over that, because a whale is a big deal. You know, you'll get a lot from a whale. I mean, at least in those days, you know, and. You know, fighting over food stores. I hope that, well, we'll see what next year brings. I'm sorry, I'm being negative. Okay,
it's so easy to do.
I am a little. Well, we'll see. We got the internet though, right?
For now. I dropped what, $3.50 last week at Costco and a little over $2.50 the other day at Walmart.
You stocking up on stuff?
Yeah. I was doing canned good shopping at Walmart.
Probably not a bad idea. I should be doing that.
And everyone kept asking me like, "You got a party going on?" And I'm like, Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
like,
that's what it is.
Don't you watch the news? I mean, isn't it obvious what I'm doing? I know I'm not buying toilet paper. I've already bought that.
Gotcha.
I mean, why would anybody buy like 36 cans of green beans?
I'm so mad they're doing the Southern fried turkey again at Cracker Barrel like they did last year, but no green bean casserole.
Oh.
They're replacing it with something else, and I was like, I'm not getting that. I'm getting fried okra. Okay.
They've greatly cut back their menu.
Yeah, at least we're getting the fried turkey again this year. I didn't think we'd be getting it again this year. But have you ever had it? The Southern fried turkey there?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't half bad. I like it.
Is that what you're doing for Thanksgiving?
Cracker Barrel, no. Well, we'll be. I live, I live at home, so we're going to be get together. My uncle's going to come over too, so we'll have a turkey dinner and all that. So.
Okay. I'm going to cook bison and sweet potato casserole and green beans and corn. That's probably about it.
Bison be nice. I don't know if I've ever had it. I keep wanting to think I've had a bison burger though. I don't know.
I cook it in like olive oil in the oven. Just
cool.
Yeah.
She has found love again. You know what I would say if I am? It's the mourning period. Okay.
But again,
I don't know what
they seem like a real couple to me.
Yeah. What was the mourning period on the back in the States? Customary. What was like a year? The woman wears black for a year or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you would wear black for a year. Queen Victoria started that, but she wore black for the rest of her life after Albert died.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, she went hardcore in mourning.
Melissa Harris says this movie is long as heck. Yeah. It's an epic. I would consider this an epic movie. It's an epic Western. We've had other epic Westerns. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is another epic Western. That's an Eastwood one. Have you ever seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Daniel Herron?
I have not.
Have you ever heard the score?
I have.
Okay, you have.
Ennio Morricone.
Yes. I guess I always say his name wrong. I would call Ennio Morricone. I guess I'm saying it wrong.
I'm probably saying it wrong.
I've always pronounced it that way. My father had the LP of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly soundtrack, and I used to listen to it over and over again. I learned about the Civil War from that movie because I don't think we covered it in history class yet, and I'm like, oh, so both sides were at war. And there's a wonderful scene in the movie where. Let's just say that Clint Eastwood and his friend, they steal they steal a couple Confederate uniforms because they're in disguise or whatever. And as they're running, they see a bunch of gray soldiers coming toward them, right? And they're like, this companion is saying, "Up with the Confederacy, down with the Union. Down with General Grant," and he's saying all this stuff, and then the gray soldiers come forward, and the one guy taps his jacket, and all this gray dust flies off, and it's the blue uniform underneath. Well, you can imagine what happens after that, right? Okay, they get sent to a prison camp, a prisoner of war camp.
Oh, that would be horrible.
Yeah, and it's actually it's not a good one either because they're doing some bad things to the Confederate soldiers over there, which to be fair, the guy who was supposed to be running the camp does not approve of, but he's been injured and he's stuck in bed. So his underling is doing some bad things to the Confederate soldiers, but it's a fascinating movie. It's fascinating because it's an Italian made movie. So it's there how they see our country. So it's interesting to see us through their eyes. And it's a Western too. but it's done in the backdrop of the Civil War, Plus also during the, of course, there are also frontier style towns in it as well that they go to as well. That's actually a nice dress.
Yeah, it kind of is.
There we go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching an older Western called Broken Arrow with Jimmy's. Yeah, I think Jimmy Stewart was in that. Yeah. And was the tribe in that one? That was about him trying to broker a kind of a treaty between the United States and one of the tribes. Hold on, let me look that up. Broken Arrow Western. Cochise was the leader of the tribe. Apache, yeah. And they said that Western was important because it was the first Western Hollywood made that didn't portray the Indians as the bad guys. It was more nuanced, or at least yeah, or adversaries, I should say. Trying for a baby, no waiting. Okay. Now, usually it's around this type of point in the movie, and I've seen this before, so of course I know where the where his fellow soldiers are going to start showing up, right?
Yeah.
They're going to say, "What about your post?" That was what he was assigned to do.
And yeah, the musical cue changes when he goes back to the fort to get the diary. You kind of musically know he's going into something that's not going to end well.
Yep.
Because this stretch of the movie, it's very relaxing, calm. And then they go to move the camp, and he's like, "Oh crap, the diary," and it's instant change.
All right. There will be a lot. More than can be counted.
And he speaks English.
Mm-hmm. There's my German ancestors. They settled in New Jersey.
When did your people come over?
I want to say the 1850s.
It's about when mine came over. Yeah.
Yeah, they were probably fleeing Bismarck. I know that there was stuff going on in Germany at the time that was probably chasing people away. Plus, there was opportunity here in the United States. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Conquistador helmet.
Oh, wow. In my own time, the Texans. The Conquistadors. I always liked the way the conquistadors dressed. I'm sorry. I like those helmets.
They are pretty sweet.
In fact, one of the things I liked about the second Narnia movie that Disney made was that the humans that eventually come to Narnia, I don't know if that was the way it was in the book, but they made them more Spanish than English, and they had knight style armor, but it looked almost like had a conquistador look to it, which I thought was fascinating.
I wonder what Two Socks has been up to during all this time.
I don't know. I mean, it's just one of these tribes where a person has an animal spirit.
I don't know.
You left the journal.
And the musical tone's very dire here. And it should just be like, I just got to go back and get something.
Yeah, you wrote it all down. Spilling the beans.
You know something more's up. This isn't just a trip back to the fort.
Melissa Harris loves this film.
And so you should.
How long has he been gone?
See? Because they've built up a good bit. That's why I'm like, what's
Engine,
Two
get
Socks
him.
been
Oh
up
my
to?
goodness. Hey, whoa.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, no. Dude, they shot the horse. Stay down. Oh, let's knock him out. After this, you up for watching Ben-Hur? No, I'm kidding.
Which version?
No, the old version. I've not seen the remake. Actually, I think they're two different. There've been other versions. Actually, there are a lot of different versions of remake. Actually, technically, the one we know is actually a remake. The silent version was the first movie.
That was the one they remade a year or so ago with Morgan Freeman. Was that Ben-Hur?
Yeah, that was Ben-Hur.
Okay.
Spivvy.
Now these guys aren't very endearing.
No. I keep thinking Stacy Keach should be here. Like this should be a Stacy Keach cameo. Whoa, okay. Well, does he speak English? You're dressed like this. Uh-oh. That other guy, I wonder if he's a Canadian actor. I think I've seen him in stuff.
Those
I didn't find
Canadians
anything.
always seem to pass for American pretty well.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how they do it. You know what's funny when you watch a Canadian television show? At first you think it's American, but something's off, and then you realize it's Canadian. Like the Canadians do a lot of weird science fiction shows, I've noticed, you know?
Really?
Yeah, they do a lot of science fiction shows in Canada. It's a thing they come out over here. Like, do you remember that one that was on the Sci-Fi Channel, Continuum?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a Canadian series.
Here the John Dunbar team's very
Boy, they're not being too
somber.
hospitable for him, are they?
No.
So what, they don't believe him? Is that what's going on here?
He doesn't have any proof.
Are you out of uniform? I don't know. I decided to make friends with people who live around here. You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
I had no one else to hang with.
didn't want to have like that guy that blew his brains out and that place. Charging you with what? Status of a traitor might improve. Oh my goodness. You know what they do to traitors?
Yeah. The major guy seems to be on the up and up. The other guy's not so much.
He would be the more reasonable one. If he had found him, he might have questioned him at least, and not started beating him. You know.
Yeah.
Not worth talking to. They shot his horse. That was horrible.
Yeah, that would not sit well with me.
Look at that. Diary's there. Can he even read?
Nope.
You got paper? Oh, here we go. The shitbird go back that far back. In LA Confidential, that's what the cop calls somebody a shitbird. Okay, you know, the Russell Crowe character. There you go. That ain't gonna go very far. Okay.
No, it's not.
That's the old saying: "Leaves of three when I have to pee."
That must be like
kidding.
a really old saying.
No, I know. Leaves of three, let them be. That's the poison ivy, right? Oh man. Wait till night. I think they know enough, too, right? You gotta
Yeah.
be self-full. What's he doing? Don't take
Trying to
it.
steal his
Don't
bling
take it,
bling.
you little SOB. I don't like him at all.
Yeah. He doesn't have much longer to live. So spoiler warning for those who haven't
Yeah.
seen it. I know people on the internet get testy about spoilers, and I'm like, well, I mean,
Well,
okay.
you know, this movie's how old? And don't
Yeah.
tune into the stream then. You know? Now, this is what, cavalry? Is this considered part of the Union? What would the former men that
I don't know if these guys here would be cavalry or not.
It's all right. It's gonna get hungrier, that's all. Maybe that don't matter. Or it is they're gonna ship you back to Hayes. Yeah, hanging was the big thing they did.
I'd rather be shot. That's just me.
Oh man. I don't know if there is a good way to be executed. I'm trying to think. Yeah, maybe shot. Firing squad. Guillotine, maybe?
No.
The guillotine was actually considered humane when it was invented because in the old before that they would just use an axe.
They would. Yeah.
A guillotine was one fell swoop, you know.
The guy who invented the guillotine ended up getting killed by the guillotine.
That's horrible.
That was the French Revolution.
Oh no! Yes, that was a terrible Robespierre.
Which I wish more people understood what that was about, because it's kind of like where we're getting to.
Yeah. They wanted to be like us, but it didn't go that way. I think they were inspired by our revolution, weren't they?
That Napoleon bankrupted the country.
Yep. Same thing. Yeah, you look historically at what was going on there. I think it was the wealthy stirring up the resentment toward the royals, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's how that went.
That hyperinflation. Thoughts for, you change the calendar, you change what terms mean, just craziness. Yep. And I really don't like this part of the movie.
No. I imagine this is not the best and the brightest of the.
No.
Not two socks. The horse was bad enough, and now two socks. This is. What was the horse's name again?
Cisco.
Cisco, yes. I hate these guys.
Yeah.
It's making the egg eating guy from the beginning of the movie look downright civilized compared to these guys.
I told you Timmons had redeeming qualities. These people, not so much.
Well, he had the egg in the mouth and he was talking with it. Come on, manners.
He was raised different from us,
Yeah, well, now I don't care where you're raised. You know better than talk with your mouth full. Okay, come on.
Well, okay. I'll give you that.
Of course, we are kind of ill-mannered these days, aren't we? Don't as a civilization. I blame the internet. Goodbye. You don't know the terrain, guys.
The music here still got a heroic flair to it.
Let me take a look. Yeah, what's the name of this theme?
I don't know if this was on the original soundtrack release or not. I think on the reissue it's called Rescue of Dances with Wolves.
Right. Drown him. Probably the worst execution might be burned at the stake, I would think. I don't know.
Yeah. Crucifixion.
Okay. Crucifixion's nasty. Yeah.
I think I'd rather be burned at the stake.
Yeah. Wasn't that one of the things is that with crucifixion they would break the person's legs because it would have them die faster, I think. It was considered more humane. But they didn't do
a while.
Yeah,
that wasn't starting out of the gate.
And they didn't I know they didn't do that with Jesus though.
No.
But they didn't do that on purpose, but
well he died in 3 hours.
Right.
Which is rare. Normally it took days to die. Yeah, on the original soundtrack album it was Rescue of Dances with Wolves.
Goodbye, you're gone.
Yeah, with crucifixion, what ultimately ends up killing you is you go into cardiac arrest because you're in shock and you keep trying to lift yourself up and you can't, and your lungs get heavy and they fill up with fluid.
That's nasty. Yeah, that's a nasty way to go.
And then when they break your knees, you can't lift up anymore. So it's like a combination of drowning and cardiac arrest.
There was a Conan the Barbarian story where it started out with him getting crucified by the villain in the story. And he manages to survive, okay, because a bunch of bandits find him and they don't know what to do with him. They say, you know what? Let's hack it down. He'll either die from falling, or he'll survive, okay?
Wow.
And he managed to survive the cross being cut down, and he ended up going with the bandits and helping them on several things, and then secretly he took over the group of bandits, okay? And I think he broke the other guy's arm, the leader's arm, and he says, "Be thankful that's all I'm doing to you, okay? Because you at least I survived thanks to you, but you're not part of this anymore, because Conan could have killed him." And you better rest assured that the guy that stuck him on that cross at the beginning of the story ended up on it by the end, okay? You know. All right.
Did you ever read Solomon Kane?
I did. I've read some Solomon Kane stories. There is one, the one Solomon Kane story that I loved. Okay, it starts out, this woman is running through the forest. Okay, and like she goes up to Solomon and she's like gasping her last breath because she's been attacked, and she's saying, Leloup and his gang, they murdered my, they attacked my village. And Solomon Kane's a Puritan, so he says, go in peace, child. He says, I don't know if he says the Lord's Prayer over her, because he, and like a pilgrim would, right? And then the next thing out of his mouth is, men will die for this. And he basically, he is dealing out justice. He's going after this whole gang. And like the money they stole, he has to he gives back to the village. And like, they'll end up fighting each other over the money. I know, but it's because he believes he's being, commanded by God to go do these things, even though he's kind of wreaking vengeance on these guys, and he's taking them all out. And he tracks the one guy down to Africa because the leader runs to Africa, so he has to go there. And it's a fascinating story. That would make a great movie, actually, because it could be just a movie about him taking care of this. And the head of the gang says, like, I don't understand. Who is this woman to you? Your wife? Why are you going to all this trouble? Like he couldn't understand why Solomon Kane was getting revenge from this simple, I don't know, peasant girl or whatever. And he was angry about what happened. And like, he didn't even know her, but he was seeking vengeance on her behalf. So it was an interesting story. All right, killing the soldiers at the river was a good thing. I did not mind killing those men. I was glad to do it. The soldiers hate me now like they hate no other. Oh, I see. They think I am a traitor. Okay. We didn't get much of a trial, did he?
I didn't get any.
Not for me.
Win with his hair is very upset. Quiet, you're hurting my ears.
So he wants to leave because, he'll put them in danger, basically.
Yeah, they'll track him down.
Old West was an awesome time, says Melissa Harris. It depends.
Well, I started out at 100%. I'm down to 15% on the cell phone. So if I just fade away,
well, I'll carry it through. You can always put it on a charger or something. Okay. How far along are we? Let me see how much time we got.
We got like 13 minutes left.
Oh, we might make it through. Let's smoke for a while. Yeah. That peace pipe, what is that? It's probably tobacco, right?
Yeah.
10 years since I had a cigar. A good fire is better than anything. That was the entertainment center of the household, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fireplace or the fire. Actually, I argued. I was making a point to one of my coworkers that that I think in the olden days, the television was not the center of the entertainment household. It was the home stereo system,
Yes.
the record player. You know, and later on you could get. I think it's because you could get the best equipment possible, like especially like in the 70s. Oh, there was one guy. They found a warehouse of a store that went out of business, and it was filled with vintage, like high quality audio equipment from like I don't know if it was like the 70s or the 80s. And I wanted that stuff so badly. You know, it's like because I don't think they make that stuff as well as they used to, or at least not as affordable as they used to when you want to get the high end stuff, right?
Yeah. I looked out this summer and I got a lot of equipment at the thrift store.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably the best place to go for this stuff is thrift store. Build it by getting the used stuff. That might be an idea for me. Something to do in 2021, right?
Yeah.
Even just a decent boombox, I would be happy with.
Wow, you just dated yourself.
I remember in the 80s, you had all this impressive audio equipment, and it's all disappeared. It's all junk now. A lot of the stuff they sell now, it drives me nuts. Mm.
This is a very real scene. I mean, you're losing one of your best friends and you're trying to find something, you can't find it, and you're torn up that they're leaving. And then your wife comes in and saves the day because she's awesome. And you're lucky to have her. Damn, that's a marriage right there. I envy him.
Now, I would imagine, though, at least during this era, it would be easy enough to assume a new identity, right?
Much
A lot
more so
easier,
than today.
a lot
Yeah.
easier than today. Yeah, especially when you could be lost in some of these states that have barely been settled. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, go to California. Yeah.
Yeah, just stay in the middle of the country. Say, hey, you know, I lost all my paperwork. Oh, look at this.
We're going to revisit most of all the major themes in the film now till through the end credits.
How does it smoke? I never smoked it. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
You'll never know, right?
To what? Friends who respect each other, that says a lot.
Yeah. They're hunting for him. Is that his diary?
Yeah.
How'd he find it?
He found it floating in the stream
Look at that.
when they rescued him.
You could write a memoir one day.
Yeah. Can you see that I will always be your friend?
Mm-hmm. It's sad.
It is. But they've come so far because at the start he didn't care for him at all.
Yeah, I know. That's usually how friendships start, though.
Yeah. I think the best friends are always the ones you get some sort of, you respect them for something.
Yep. What's next up? Last of the Mohicans? Oh, man. They got the swords charging.
See, in my mind, when I finished the movie, I figured he just went back and got executed.
What'd you say? What?
And like my mind, it's like, well, I wonder what happened after the movie. And my mind, he got, executed.
No, I think he disappeared.
Yeah. I mean, a white man could always show up with an Indian wife and.
But she's not even. She was, but no. But she didn't start out as an Indian, though, right? I mean,
True.
she might be able to pass. I mean, like I said, he can blend. He'll go to some, become a farmer, maybe get some land. You never know what he could do. Yeah,
That's true.
get some forged documents. I mean, come on. I don't know what the sequel book says what happened to him. I guess we'll never know.
Yeah. Unless we read it.
Yeah, I guess unless I read it, I could do that. 13 years later, homes destroyed, Buffalo gone, the last band of the Free Sioux submitted to white authority in Fort Robertson, Nebraska. The Plains was gone, and the American frontier was soon to pass into history. I gotta tell you, though, have you ever driven cross country?
Not out west.
There's still a lot of open spaces out there. It can go on for a long time. Try going through the Badlands. That's always a little unnerving. All right. So we're getting the what is this? The overture?
John Dunbar's theme.
Yeah.
No.
Or the suite, I should say, right? Is this gonna be the suite?
Yeah, you could call it that. I will say this, the night that this won the Academy Award, I was really pulling for John Williams to win for Home Alone. And they said, John, and I was like, woohoo! And then they said, Barry, and I was like, ah! But, in retrospect, this deserves the Academy Award more than Home Alone.
It's a better score. You know what I will say, speaking of Home Alone, though, I want the score to Home Alone 2. I don't know if I can find it anywhere. Is it available anywhere?
I think it's still in La La Land or Entrada.
All right, I'll look for it because that has a good score too. It was a decent enough sequel. Okay,
I like it. I'll watch it.
Not Home Alone 3. We'll not talk about that one.
Yeah, I won't say anything about that.
Apparently, Disney's going to be redoing that one as well.
Okay, whatever, Disney. If they're in business in a year, well, we'll have to see.
We'll see. I don't know how I come off. How do I come off on Study Hall about Disney? I'm curious.
Well, I'm probably kind of biased because we like run in the same gang.
Well, no, I'm trying to think. Do I come off as negative or positive?
Neutral?
Yeah, I think I'm neutral. Here's my thing about Disney. It's not so much that I like them or think they're this great company. I just think that there are more competent people there than at other companies. Okay, they've made mistakes, but but like other, like, I'm sorry, like Warner Brothers, a lot of these other companies, I don't know. We're gonna see who survives. 2021, we'll see. I think Disney will pull through somehow. I think it's going to hurt a lot of people. I mean, there are going to be a lot of people getting let go. I think they will survive. Keep in mind, I'm no fan of Disney. I mean, I am very angry about the 20th Century Fox buyout. That should have been blocked from happening.
Yeah.
I don't even like the fact that they own that catalog. But, you know, I guess I am also more of a pragmatist. Like, you know, we'll see.
See, they can't. If movie theaters don't survive, they're not going to survive as well.
Who?
Any of the studios. You got to have them. You have to have the theaters to do billion-dollar movies.
Yeah. That's another thing.
I don't see them surviving without billion-dollar movies or $2 billion movies.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I think budgets are going to shrink big time. But we'll see what happens in the new year. All right. Well, this was fun. I am telling you, though, I am desperate for Professor Geek to review the remake of Dumbo.
I'll have a talk with him.
No. I don't say anything to him. I mean, you're gonna have a talk with him, whatever. I want him to go in there with eyes unclouded, okay? I have purposely not said anything about the Dumbo remake, okay? Because I want to hear his thoughts on it, but I can't hear his thoughts on it because he even owns it, but he hasn't watched it yet. So I don't know. I may have to bug him. Maybe when he's done, I think I'm going to have to insist on him doing. He needs to do a video review of Dumbo after he watches it, okay? I'm sorry, I got to keep my mouth shut. Hopefully he's not listening, okay? Because I'm laughing. Have you seen the Dumbo remake?
I have not. I'm not a big Tim Burton person.
What? You're not a big Tim Burton person?
Yeah.
It's a Tim Burton movie. I can't say. Tim Burton is hit or miss with me. Some of his stuff I like, some of his stuff I don't like. Like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, I like that movie. All right, well, that's Dances with Wolves. This DVD, I know I bought this back in the 90s, late 90s. This is an old one. And actually, surprisingly, the disc held up pretty well. The picture wasn't that bad. So I don't think I need to upgrade to Blu-ray. I think we'll just keep this. All right. Sometimes I will upgrade to a Blu-ray if the DVD looks atrociously bad on a modern television. Pale Rider, I'm looking at you. The Pale Rider DVD was terrible looking. I had to upgrade to the Blu-ray for that. And I wanted a special edition of it, but it's never going to happen. But I did upgrade on Blu-ray for Pale Rider. That's another great Western. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for just stopping by. And people watching this in the future time, thank you for watching it in the future time, as always.
All right. Well, we'll be in touch. We'll plan for something maybe in a couple of weeks. All right.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know if we're going to be doing anything. I know I got that thing with Netter next week, but I'll find out what time it is. I'll be in touch with you. I don't know if there'll be time to do anything after or not, but I'll. All right.
Yeah. I may end up doing ET. I don't know. But yeah, just let me know what your schedule is with Netter.
Yeah.
And sort something out. Professor Geeks wants to do Batman Returns next month for Christmas. I'm not sure what day yet.
Oh, he's going to do it on your channel, or is he going to do it on his channel?
No, he's doing it with us. If you will join us, of course.
All right. Well, that's cool. Cool beans.
And I'd like to do Die Hard. If you want to pick out a Christmas movie, let me know what you want to do, and we can do it.
Well, here's the deal. We're both going to pick. I wanted young Sherlock Holmes. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to buy the score to that as well. I do like that score. It's another 80s. If you like stuff like Gremlins or like Goonies and stuff like that, it's in that same vein, but it's a young Sherlock Holmes.
Okay. Cool.
I know Al thought it was so, but it was a childhood favorite of mine. I think you'll get a kick out of it. It's also one of the an early example of Pixar animation in a movie. Okay.
Really?
I'm not going to tell you what there are effects in it. There are some nifty effects in it by Industrial Light and Magic.
And it is a Christmas movie?
It takes place at Christmas time. Whether you consider that
a Christmas movie.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
It's a Sherlock Holmes movie. It's proper to watch now. Okay. All right.
Okay, cool.
But I'll be in touch with you, all right?
Yeah, have a good night.
All right, have a good night. And anything you want to add? You want to do the don't
adopt, don't shop. And
there we go.
You've got study hall on Sunday night, and Professor Geek's got a book study tomorrow night. And
I'm a fan man's doing anything Friday. He might be. I think he was going to be on this Friday. Check his channel. And I'm trying to think what else is going on. Monday night sound engraver. Actually, I don't know what's going on next week because it's Thanksgiving week, so I'm not sure. Just keep in touch. If you're not part of the Professor Geek Facebook group, go ahead and join. Make sure you answer the questions, though. All right. On that note, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night.